welcome to Magnus Aevum. Before we get started with all of our players, weird stories I'm sure they're going to tell me today. We're going to start out with level up.
Yeah.
Wow, there was enthusiasm. You know what? I'm taking it away.
All right.
If there's not enough enthusiasm, I'm done. Better.
I'm eating a cookie, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
No,
I have
no,
delayed reactions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
Yeah.
It's the lag.
I'm just
He's
having,
going to intentionally do
I'm
something
just
now.
having trouble controlling the volume of my voice. Oh.
Yeah, it explains a lot.
Yeah.
See? I knew he was going to do it. All right, so to start that off, they have already did most of their characters. There's two things they haven't done yet. One they know about, one they just learned about. And you can tell by looking at their faces.
Chance to die. Roll a d100.
Oh, do I have to do that other thing too?
Well, okay, somebody has 3, but that's a different issue.
I'm just letting you know, I just remembered that was a thing.
Can I have 3?
I mean, if you want to have the same problem that Jen has, that's fine.
Maybe.
So, we're going to go ahead and start off with Adrit getting some HP.
Okie doke. All right, buddy. So I guess I'm just rolling
Well, before you go ahead and roll, would you take a level in?
fighter.
Fighter.
Yeah.
So you're dipping now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see how it goes.
Oh.
That's ominous right there. Roll the die?
Yeah.
What did you do to it?
Nothing
Did you
yet.
poison it?
You don't know.
Yeah, you remember, you get disadvantage on this one.
Oh. That's not good.
Did I curse it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have inspiration?
No.
You sure?
I mean, if you say I have inspiration, then
I don't know. You're supposed to be keeping track.
I
well,
will
I'm
say,
pretty sure I don't.
I'm pretty
think-
sure you used the last
I think
one.
I was the only one to get inspiration last session, from what I recall.
That's cool. You guys can use inspiration for each other. I'm not saying necessarily use it now unless you
No,
want
I
to.
spent
No.
mine.
You're not getting my inspiration.
Mine, damn it.
I've
That's
got
all
one
right.
left from being a jackass.
I've rolled max on every other level, so this 4 extra.
Did you roll a 1?
I rolled 3.
Oh, then you're not re-rolling. Sorry.
That's fine.
If you roll a 1, please re-roll that. I'm not having people begin that bad. Not out to kill you.
So
Just
yeah,
out to make promises.
not too bad. Still 49 HP. Nice.
All right, so we will go on to the metal.
Oh, cool. I'm over here thinking I'm relevant.
I leveled Monk again.
Oh, okay. Staying with the regular. Okay.
Yeah. When the tide gets stormy, we stay the course.
There you go. You're the storm, though, so I don't know why you're worrying about whether it's got tossing waves or not. This
You
metaphor's
are
going
chaos.
too far.
That way I know where my problems are.
You are chaos. That's
Hey!
There you go.
Whoa.
All right.
Are those dice from our store deck?
They actually are, yeah. They're my cool blue-black dragon dice.
No, we won't try that camera.
They're my cool blue-black dragon dice.
There you go. Because it looked like a dot on Jen's head otherwise.
Hey, look, a dot.
Math.
Oh, can I roll a one?
All right.
I'm gonna.
Time for Anna. Let's see how Anna does.
Fuck if I know. Someone said it
Are you
was
staying the course too, or are you dipping somewhere?
dipping is
possibly
too
have known
complicated
that,
for me. I'm
Okay,
already a
okay,
hot mess.
that's fine. Not everybody wants to multi-class.
That's a 3.
Well, okay. But that's half the die.
Yeah. Can someone make me get 3 hit points, please? I don't know.
It's time to start teaching you.
No, she just refuses to learn.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a different problem. There is a second
A picture
roll.
worth 1,000.
I learned about spells today. That's enough for me.
There's a second roll you kind of have to do. Roll for control.
More the amount of times I was told initially. Or I just want to know how many dice I get to roll.
You're level 6 now.
you told me 5 times.
So it's 6 now.
Yeah, because you're level 6.
Oh, I thought it was because of the 5-year gap. Was what it was. Oh, okay. So I need to roll 1, 2,
You got 29
3,
HP.
4, 5, 6 dice? Or do I have to roll them? Do you need? I'll figure it. I'll do it. In order.
Are any of them a 1?
No, but 2 of them are a 4.
That's okay. They're not 1s.
Okay.
All right. Nice.
You have maintained control of what? That's for only you and I to know.
Okay.
Nice. Let's see how Dominus does, or Is he dipping too?
He's not dipping.
No,
Artificer all the way, baby.
Okay. Let's see how it goes.
Did you say artificer or artificer?
That too. Either one.
Ooh,
7.
nice.
Almost max.
Okay then.
I'll definitely take that.
So now you all know the results of the die. Does anybody want to give Adrit inspiration to reroll his 3? 'Cause
I
should
also
get
got a
that.
3. What
wouldn't
about
do it
me,
for a
guys?
friend?
No mercy for the weak.
Guys, I also got a 3.
He's living by clan tier mottos. Sorry,
For you too, Jerry.
but it's not like half. He's a D10. You're a D6.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sucks, bro.
He's less than half of the die. That's
That
why he's
sucks.
asking.
I was like,
wasn't asking. You were asking for me.
I mean, you were asking.
I literally, I have nothing.
The campaign started. That's all that matters.
All right. So there is that second thing you guys didn't know about. That's okay. Now that you finally hit thresholds of leveling again, there's also this gap in time. You guys spent 5 years in downtime in 1 week. It's impressive. Ooh, yay. Ooh, it's heavy. But I already knew that, right? In those 5 years, you have gained wiser, hopefully more capable,
In theory.
possibly learned something,
Awesome.
maybe have made some new connections, and potentially made some money,
Yeah.
right?
Can I do
Ooh,
that?
wait a minute. Rolling for money.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
boy.
here's how this is going to work out. There are 5 years. That means you get 5 dice. They are D10s.
I only have 4 d10s on.
Well,
Oh no, I'm kidding. That's not how percentages
you
work.
can always roll multiple times.
I see that.
1 D10 is going to represent each year, but you all are not created equal. Ah, so unfortunate. We have 2 stemas, right? Which means you're both specialists, but you're considered common cast,
Yeah.
right? We've raised Lamel by reclaiming his heritage to a bind, and because of that, you get a little extra.
I'm 8.
You're 8.
You get an allowance.
Did I make a lemonade
And determining
stand?
whether you can roll or not determines whether or not he claimed you publicly.
We already determined that, yeah.
Okay, that's all I needed. Making sure. So then you get the roll.
Cool.
Whether he gives you the money is a completely different story.
Going into a college fund. Wink, wink. You're 8 years old. You don't need money.
Yes, I do.
All right, so we're going to start with the upper class of society, I guess. Ooh.
That's me, right?
Well, not if you don't want to be.
I don't know.
You can always throw
I'm
away
8.
your
I don't know
heritage.
that I have an option.
I mean, you have a good bit of awareness. You're
I'm gonna roll dice. And no one's gonna stop me.
I will as well.
Please add them up.
$33.
Okay.
25.
You're going to love me, and you're going to hate me. Please multiply that by 20, and that's how much gold you earn. For our steamas, same thing. Go ahead and roll.
Wow, I rolled low. 25.
You've been in school. It kind of makes sense, actually. 25? Okay. So you're going to multiply that by 10, and that's what you're essentially earning.
All right.
11.
Ouch.
Yeah.
110 gold in 5 years. Being a student is rough.
I'm not rolling good so far.
But if you do the averages of how much gold you're making versus what a commoner typically earns in a year,
So if you think
You're
about
still
how
doing
much the
that.
guard
I don't
earns
have
per
money
day.
in my
I don't know. This might actually not level out for you.
There you go.
That is fair. So 1 under 10?
You
You
whatever
got
your result
100.
is times 10.
Over the course of the 5 years. That's how much
so
money you have.
painful.
Out of your
Now,
allowance.
both of you have
Okay.
specializations. Because of this, you should be probably adding your proficiency bonus. I can have you at it.
Okay, just
Or expertise if you have it.
In which
Whatever is applicable to your job that you're trying to make money with.
I have so many.
I don't care. Take the most advantage for yourself. How's that?
Okay. Well, I have expertise in which ones?
Because it's whatever that number is times
Skills.
10 anyway. So.
Yeah, which is I have a Plus 10 to Tinker's Tools and to Leatherworker's Tools.
So make another 100. That's fine.
All right, cool. I'll take it.
You have expertise in history, don't you?
Yeah, and an Arcana. So what does that add for me?
Whatever the result
The
is
highest
plus
one.
times.
What's the highest one?
What's
They're
the
the same.
Okay.
Plus 8.
So 80.
so you'd add 80.
80, okay.
That's a little better. 190 is not too bad.
Yep.
You guys didn't think that was going to be the second roll, did you?
No.
I thought it was going to be something a little more sinister.
You always think the worst of me.
Yeah.
When have I proven to be an evil DM?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
I remember a city being razed to the ground as a dragon came rising from a mountain, Godzilla style.
Guys, you say DM.
But we lived.
That I don't know if that was his fault.
Well, no. No.
Fair. Fair.
She did
let's,
live.
let's be real here, guys.
I believe the culprit is no longer with us.
Yeah.
So, what was that again? Yeah, I think I'm okay.
I didn't do shit.
Hold on, what was that NPC's name?
Dead? Got it.
The one who was really bitchy? Yeah.
Wow.
You gotta rub it in, man. The bit was over.
Oh, I'm not making fun of Andrew. Like, that one woman was just particularly a bitch. So much so that I don't remember her name, even though she was the whole reason we all met.
Yeah.
The one that died in the mountain?
Yeah.
Oh.
The one who started this whole thing,
Oh,
who's starting that
Adriana.
ritual.
Yeah, Adriana.
Yeah, that bitch.
I thought you meant me.
Well,
I
No.
was like,
you also were the bitch that
I
died.
thought you'd remember her name, but whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just a bitch for a different reason.
Wow.
Her problem was that she switched her name right before the game. I think that just jinxed it.
That really did.
Well, because you told me no for the other one. Or no, that was this one. That was this one. You're right. I'm sorry. I get told no a lot. It's fine.
Thoroughly derailed.
Look this way. Shoot for the moon. You might end up back on Earth. There's no stars here.
Alright.
Sorry.
Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll be stuck in the vacuum of space for the short remainder of your life.
That's not how gravity will work.
No, if you shoot hard enough. Just...
It's still.
If you shoot it hard enough, title your sex tape.
Okay, first off, that's funny. Second off, I don't be having sex, man.
Virgins for life!
Oh my god.
Alright, we were in recap, right?
We are.
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
So I'm not going to tell the tale of your guys' 5 years because I don't think that's appropriate. It's your own
I
downtime.
have it all written down. Yeah.
Oh,
You're
shit,
going to
were
read a
we-
script?
I'm not
Are we
gonna. No, I can
supposed to be
paraphrase. Come on.
prepared?
I graduated high school. I know how to paraphrase.
Actually, low-key, come back to me because I'm not prepared.
Not on you.
Okay.
It wasn't for that.
I was about to say, I did. I actually did.
No, I have faith. I have faith in that. That's not where the lack of faith is.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Good. Now let's continue on.
Kind of.
I
So,
look back at what
who wants to go first?
Not me.
Go for it.
I will, because I'm the odd man out. You guys are all together. I'm not. So, Dominus has been working on a project that he's kind of heading up, but he's not like the owner, but he's like the lead on this project that Priya has kind of gotten him into, and for the people that she works for or whatever it is exactly. But it is a very well-funded and important project, and he has, over the course of this 5 years, it is nearing completion. Like the basics of it, like the foundation of it, everything works. It's just now the kind of the final stages of implementation and expansion of it that need to be worked upon. He has also been doing some additional research on his own and spending some time creating his brand new Glamored Arcane Full Plate Armor of the Dominus.
Of the dome?
That he now proudly wears around all the time because, well, it's glamored, so it doesn't look like he's wearing armor all the time. But he tends to wear that around. He also has, over these past 5 years, recently reacquainted himself with and found his daughter, Evervess, or Effie for short, and they have kind of rebuilt their relationship from the damage that had been done in the past, and become quite close, and he's, happy with that, and so is she. But she even remarked that he seems very focused on something, not just the project, but some other research that he's involved in. And additionally, he may be spending his time with some other people.
Okay. Dominus went and made friends.
Mm-hmm.
Dominus wasn't allowed to do that. How the hell's gonna be all lonely?
Hey, am I nothing to you?
You're 8.
Yeah, exactly. I am needy.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have time for friends. Because Lamel was real busy.
Well,
boy.
So, following the vote, Lamel, realizing that Xander isn't a complete sack of garbage, decided to actually spend the time to get to know and get close to his brother, and by consequently doing this, became close to the upper threshold of power within the clan tier and the king. Doing so, he took some great advice from Xander and formed a company in order to masquerade some of the work that his familia was doing, forming the Manhattan Company.
Do you need any projects worked on?
Yeah, I certainly do.
okay.
At all?
Oh, I gotta keep a lot of secrets, sorry.
Okay. Would
I
you
guess
like to go?
I'll follow up since I'm kind of related to that. So, in my learning, growing years, there's a couple things I want to do aside from going to school in a private school and learning in general. I do specifically want to read up on a few things. Mainly the tree that is no longer there, the paladins and the towers.
Mm-hmm.
In general, I want to learn more about that, so I will do that. I did eventually convince him to let me do blacksmithing, just not inside the house.
Got more fireplace
We made a
ideas?
small smithy station outside in the backyard.
Okay.
I don't know how our tree situation is. I want a tree house of sorts. If tree house isn't available, I'll take like a shed clubhouse kind of situation out back.
That's not asking me.
Well, I asked Zach initially, and he told me to ask you, so...
I said that we have no trees, so it's all open to interpretation. If you want a shed, that's fine.
All
We've
right.
already had
I'll
this
take a
conversation.
tree house / shed / clubhouse in the backyard that I made him build me, where I do blacksmithing at.
That's probably not in a tree, let's be honest.
I didn't say it was
You'd turn a
smart.
forge on inside of a tree and the tree would be on the ground.
I tried to do, because it's hard for me to make money, right? So instead of doing a lemonade stand, it's a blacksmithing stand.
It's a fucking knife stand on the side of this nice-ass street.
Yeah. I sell daggers for a real cheap price.
What?
What's not normal about this?
Nice.
I fully support it.
I will say, Lamel walked into my room one time and he did find probably about 37 drawings of that dagger
Okay.
that I just kind of went a little obsessive over for a
Well,
minute.
I mean, maybe it's a bit obsessive, but that's also what makes a good smith.
Yeah.
I drew my father burning alive probably about 50 times for art galleries, so it can't
So
be
you're
that
telling me
obsessive.
it's a family issue.
Maybe.
And then I do, speaking of family, wanted to try to get closer to Xander, and I guess some of the Tyr family in general, but specifically Xander. And then I wanted to eventually try to get some information out of him based on the artifacts I heard him talking about at one point.
The 8-year-old.
No, I'm assuming this is like 6 or 7 just holding up a fucking former prince. Now Cena.
Not
Uncle Xander?
Yeah.
How did
yeah, like one of those kind
Uncle
of
Xander.
You're gonna get
information
dismissed
gatherings.
so much.
So
He's gonna
yeah.
tell you stories and none of it's gonna be relevant to you at
Well,
all.
I'll fucking find out.
That's made up.
And that is my 5 years.
At some point he's gonna be like, how does this girl keep knowing these random things to ask?
I'm smart.
She reads a lot.
That's all I do.
Okay.
So yeah,
That was
that
so
was I
You don't-
read and sell knives.
I guess that just leaves me, right?
I mean, yeah. Well, but there is an elephant in the room, but we'll discuss that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know I was an elephant now instead of a lizard, but I'm cool with that.
You're not. You're not.
I'm not
Well, what if I want to be an
Whoa,
You're not an
whoa,
elephant
whoa, whoa.
or a wizard, so shut the fuck up.
Hold on.
It's a lizard.
You're look
Oh.
fine. Don't worry about it.
You need to check your hearing. Okay, so for starters, Adrit, if Lamel had agreed, would spend a lot of his time during the 5 years, his free time, training with him, and even potentially participating in the arena if given the opportunity, because extra money is cool.
Okay. The only stipulation I would have with that is, yes, I would train you.
No magic, right?
No magic.
Mhm.
I would want you to help me get closer to the spirits, however, as an equal exchange.
Ooh, okay.
And
He'd be more than happy to do that.
if you're going to be participating in the arena under my banner, you have to join the Familia on a contractual basis.
Does that at all interfere with what I've got going on with Ulrich?
No.
Okay, so yeah, I'd probably be fine with
As
that.
honest as Adrit is, good
Damn
odds
it! How
you
many
tell him.
familiars do I have to save him from?
But what did you say?
Good odds you're so honest you would still tell Albrecht.
Mhm.
So I would probably assume he just goes, stay above board.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, essentially just training, trying to get stronger because he sees that the world is changing and he wants to be able to adapt to it. After that, just kind of studying, so on and so forth, and being spiritual, blah, 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 blah. Studying at the Socio Arcanum, it's another one, making some friends. Eventually, at some point during the time skip, taking a small vacation back to his own home tribe to say hello to everyone, and then also to try to make some kind of peace interactions with the Naga tribes, because he feels that since the world is changing, that, past differences should be set aside and a new olive branch should be, So as I was saying, additional things Edric did during the time skip, volunteering wherever possible. So soup kitchens like before back in Palomares, but also manual labor, religious institutes, really anything in the capital that needs volunteers. Then if Anna, however you say it.
Yes.
Wait, how do you say it?
Yes.
Okay.
Depends on my mood.
Well, also depending on your mood, if your character would be okay with it, Adrit would just try to be a sort of uncle to you and just hang out with you. All right.
As long as you let me blacksmith this time.
Yeah, you have your own little shed. That's your space. I respect it. And then lastly, in the little bit amount of free time, he spends some time with Albert trying to research political stuff and just current events to get a better idea of how the world is. So, that's that. Yeah.
I got right. Whoa. Was not expecting that. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope you all had an eventful 5 years.
Yeah.
You are now 5 years older. That causes a slightly other issue. Remember, if you hit a certain age, you auto-retire.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Nobody should be there, so we're okay.
Yeah, I got almost 2 decades left.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's at risk. So, as for the elephant in the room, there isn't really an elephant. It's just a lack of a Richard. So, unfortunately, due to just life and circumstances, Josh will be unable to join us for an unknown amount of time and has asked us to go ahead and retire Richard. Or more specifically, he gave me Richard. This is where evil DM kicks in.
Oh,
See?
Josh was the evil all along.
Yes.
No. Giving me your characters is
I
usually
thought it
the
was
best
the
thing.
evil that we made along the way.
The evil DM was the friends.
No, those
we
were
made
the
along
friends.
way.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
But they're evil friends.
The evil friends that we made.
Yeah.
There you go. So, Richard, over the 5-year period, as some of you already should know, he did re-enlist in the military, sort of. He started taking special operations, and he was doing what basically amounts to spy work and espionage and insurgency work and things like that. Where Richard is specifically gone wasn't really known for 4 years. In the last year, though, it is very well known. See, one of Lamel's close friends, Kuno Adler, who he has spent some time with off and on, just reconnecting with old friends kind of deal, informed him that his boss, who was the Vicar of Arms for the Paladin of War, Vicars are basically, there are two of them, a right and left hand, if you will, of the Paladins themselves. They carry a small amount of the Paladin's power each, and it's a regular person that assumes the role, and something happens behind closed doors where they gain a certain amount of power based on magic-y ritual stuff that maybe one day everybody will find out. And because of this, Kuno got elevated and took his spot. Well, in the time frame of everything going on, he had lots of connections, like with Lamel. He also had some with Richard. Richard is now the first Oster under him. He's one of the highest ranking officers in the arms side of the Ministry of War. It's a very quiet post, but it became very public briefly. Why, you might ask?
Why?
Why?
There you go. Thank you. Thank you for the cue. See, Richard revealed a couple of things that came out about in the Ministry of Darkness because of his experiences apparently tied to the Paladin of Darkness in that battle that the Paladin fell now 6 years ago.
It was to the Corpse Knights, right?
Yeah. It was a conflict with the Corpse Knights. And the vicars that support the Paladin of Darkness have been carrying the ministry for the entire time. Richard and a small team killed one of them.
Killed one of the vicars?
Killed one of the vicars for treason against the crown. There's not a lot explained, but it was very public because it actually happened in the Hall of Ancients. Right where the vote happened, same place. That vicar actually was the head of the Queen's Guard as well.
You're giving me too much information at once.
Right, faster.
I think it's my gears turning and I hate it.
Oh.
Damn it, I have to think.
As for Richard himself, he's kind of faded more into the background again, but that was a very public incident, which is how you guys found out where he's apparently been.
You didn't write me a letter. See how I've been doing?
Probably not. If he would have contacted anybody, it would have been accurate.
Oh yeah, no, I knew it would be.
But yeah, he's now serving with Kuno. You know because of the inside side, because you have got contacts with Kuno. And because of that, you still have some loose connections to Richard if you want them. Past that, that would be where Richard went. What else he did? But he is now definitely in one of the higher positions in the Ministry of War you can get, short of being a paladin or one of their immediate hands. So,
I do have a quick question. You may have said it, and I may have missed it, and that's my bad. Were you, because I know you were off doing your thing with, what's her face?
Priya.
Yeah. I say that like I'm not related to her. Were you involved with the party again, or were you just kind of off?
I was off kind of doing.
Okay, so I don't know you, really. Okay, that was the one I was getting at. Okay.
Nope.
yeah, it was up to him. I gave him the options.
And that's why I was asking.
Who is
Okay.
this fool?
Alright, that's all I need.
Knew him for a few weeks, met him again years later.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
Well, no,
I remember you.
Didn't know.
You've never met him.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Not once.
That's fine.
Not twice. Not thrice.
We open the game with a little story.
Story time.
Kind of zoom out away from the characters, away from the kingdom, and honestly away from an obvious spot in the world. And instead, zoom in somewhere else. I don't want to know.
Zooming out.
Zoom in. Anyway, those at home that knew what I did, that's fine. Anyway, We zoom in about 600 miles to the north to a ruin that nature is well claimed, so figuring out the footprint of it doesn't even really help much. There's a campfire around it. Or in it, I should say. Not around it. It would be really big.
I was about to
It's a
say.
bonfire.
It might be just a forest fire at that point. There's a campfire inside the ruin. Two little figures that are eerie to the eye. They have long, stretched faces that cone down in their chins that stretch almost into what would be a neck of sorts. It eggs up onto the top. They have stretched out side cheeks that just meld naturally into kind of ears of sorts. And hair that really looks more like foliage than it looks like hair. Made of ivy or sumac or just things that are clearly plants. They don't have any specific clothes on because there's not clothes to hide things. There's no shame to have. There's no bits to reveal. Their forms, though distinctly genderless, seem to have some sort of hierarchical priority to each other. How that's established, completely unknown. They're speaking in a language that doesn't really ring any bells for anyone, but it sings. It sounds like two individuals, instead of in a rap battle, they're in a ballad battle of sorts, which suggests an argument, being that their tones are not in harmony of any kind. A third approaches. A third one is more drained in color, while these look vibrant and alive with the plants that represent like their hairs and stuff like that, giving them greens and some oranges here and there, vibrant reds, maybe spots that would reflect maybe it was a fruit-bearing tree that they had relation to. And the first thought might be, these are dryads. They're not. They are some of the most dangerous spirits in existence. We call them, in our world, she.
She?
She. Or
Oh,
I'll
me.
see.
Okay.
It's better just to call them fae.
Ah.
I thought you were going to just call them bards.
I thought you were going to call them elves.
That is accurate. Elves are members of the fae. See, elves aren't normal to this world, and this is why we had the conversation we did.
Yeah.
And they very rarely would cross over unless there's something of value. Turns out, the third one that's approaching more looks like a living sea anemone. It's beautiful purple that kind of gradients into this deep blue. The eyes on the creature more look like dots at the end of a point, more than they actually look like any definition we would call an eye. Face is completely wiped clean and smooth. But it carries a small object that looks cracked, fragmented almost, but it's still whole in the sense that you can see as a singular object. That object looks like a six-winged angel in our concepts, with no real clear face, because for anyone looking at it, which in this case is this blue being, it carries the face of the person looking at it. As it gets near the fire and it gets illuminated, you see deep blacks and golds and whites all over this artifact, if you will. As it illuminates the creature and reflects the visage of the creature, it suddenly gets ashen and gray and it starts to dissolve, dropping the artifact to the ground. The other two, in a panic, their songs turning from whatever form of ballad they had going into this wail of instrumental noise, involving clicks and almost like horns blaring suddenly, as if they have built-in instrumentation for their voice boxes. And in their panic, they go to what would presumably be their friend. One of them incidentally touches the artifact. Gone. I'm sure everybody understands why I did this, right? The last one, not knowing what happened, runs. disappears.
Hmm.
This happened 8 months ago. This creature is now manifested in front of you.
Where am I at?
I'm assuming you could be anywhere you want to be. You tell me where this manifests.
You're on the toilet.
I was thinking the same thing. I would say I'm actually. There's an arena here, right? In
Oh yeah.
Balsam.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and it's probably a much better one than the one in Palomar.
Yeah, get fucked.
Much larger.
Okay.
Yeah, it's built for different things too.
Yeah.
So.
I would say I'm either like out on the sands or in my own personal like room or whatever.
Mhm.
Towards like the evening time, if that's the time that,
That's fine.
and just sharpening my greatsword when I turn and see this thing. And I'm assuming I have some kind of knowledge about what this is.
You would have a cursory knowledge from your studies.
Would I know to be shit fucking terrified?
You probably should be, because the stories say these things will devour your spirit to fuel themselves.
Do I know if they have any kind of like aversion to normal steel or something like that?
Nobody's ever gotten close enough and came back.
Nobody. Ooh, maybe I won't be the first.
Logan's like, oh, he's playing evil DM now. Okay, got it.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna do that thing that you gave me.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna cast Detect Spirits.
When you do, various things that would be normally around show up. There's tender spirits, which are basically keeping things whole. They reinforce, say somebody built a structure, and that structure has certain materials. It's like they maintain it until they run out of resources.
Mhm.
Where they get the resources is far more questionable. You have some purity spirits maintaining light sources that have been made, whether they be electrical or whether they be flame, it doesn't make any difference. The creature that stands in front of you is well identified. And as it's identified, you don't get the idea of elf. It doesn't be like, it's E-L-E. No.
It's like a Pokédex.
Right.
This is the elf.
This is the elf Pokemon. It instead identifies it by its court. Fae divide themselves in 5 sections: 4 seasons and the void.
Okay.
So one is green, mostly with some yellows and reds, and it is of the spring court.
Okay. Spring Court A. Do I know, or do I gain any information on from the spell that I just cast, what kind of language it might speak?
So that's where the big catch comes in, right? So we're going to use Sylvan for mechanics purposes, right? But Sylvan is a language that is only done in song.
I don't know Sylvan
Musical.
anyway, so
So the closest thing you could get to it, honestly, well, I guess if you technically took Elven, but I think we stopped that anyway. So
yeah.
yeah, Sylvan would be the closest thing. Past that, you know they understand music. And they understand music in a sense of rhythm, not an intent, more than any lyrics or something like that's going to do. So if you play something with a fast tempo, it may do one of 2 things. It could be panic or it could be excitement, for instance. If you slow it down a lot and give it some deep tones, it may be made to be just kind of resting, or potentially it's something dire, depending on how you present it. Music, of course, elicits emotions, and these things all respond in that way.
I'm terrified. Does it look like it's approaching me, or is it just standing there?
Well, first off, you can normally see spirits under normal circumstances, and these things, you would expect it to have walked up. It didn't. It manifested like it teleported, maybe 2 or 3 feet from your face.
It's just right there. But in the time that it took me to cast a spell, it didn't move or anything at all?
It's statuesque,
Okay, I'm going to cast...
staring at you as if it's certain you can see it.
I'm going to ritual cast Augury, and I'm going to ask, what would happen if I try to communicate with it by casting aid on it?
Okay.
Do I get wheel or woe, or wheel and woe, or nothing? We'll see.
You good?
Whoa, whoa.
What is the intent behind the aid in your augury?
So by casting the aid spell...
Oh, I know what the spell does. What is Adrit's intention?
Right, I was getting to that.
Okay.
So
Sorry,
by casting aid, right, because it it doesn't heal, because it gives more max HP,
Mhm.
I don't have any kind of musical instrument or a spell that can really accurately make music. Like, I don't have prestidigitation or minor illusion or anything like that. So I am hoping to cast aid on this spirit to show that I'm friendly. Basically, do not hurt me, as I am doing the opposite of hurting you. I'm actually enabling you to kill me harder, so please don't.
So you're sending it positive vibes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I bet you're wishing you would have taken a 1 level dip in Bard now instead of Fighter.
I got an 8 in charisma. That ain't happening.
So this is where Adrit learned something the books didn't tell him.
The books.
You can't divine high spirits. You will not get an answer.
So I'm not getting an answer from Sanitas when I cast aid?
Sanitas believes that it will be a boon. So it will be a positive thing.
Okay.
But the spell informs you in a sense that high spirits aren't perceivable. They don't exist in the imprint that is both the spiritual and material world. There is no signature, if you will, to divine, because they are static things.
It's not a legal target.
Oh, so I couldn't target it with aid then?
No, you can still cast aid on it.
Okay.
They're still targetable. It's still a creature. They're static beings. They don't change. There's nothing about them that can change. They either exist or don't. That's it.
That is a really...
So you couldn't make it better. Gotcha.
That is a really complex thing. Okay, then I'm
To
just
be
gonna...
or not to be. Just
I'm
straight
just
up.
gonna...
Yeah. It starts what sounds like a dirge. Has a very deep, resonating, somber tone to it. And as it starts to... It doesn't really crescendo because dirges really don't. But as it starts to grow into the music, it increases its pace, changing it a bit, but only a little bit. Enough to let you know that something in you starts to feel sad for whatever it's trying to sing. And then you feel like there is not hope, but promise. As the dirge changes, not into a celebration, but more of a kind of how, like if you think about when you listen to a breakup song, after something bad has happened, you like feel sad initially, but once you've gotten over it, it's just kind of like there's a memory to it, but it's absolved. It's been done.
Okay.
That's what happens as this evolves.
It's kind of melancholic.
It's a little melancholic, but it doesn't have that emotion anymore. It peels it away and leaves you with a resolution.
I'm gonna slowly raise my hand up to it as if to meet my hand with its. Oh god, it's got 3 fingers.
They're nails
What happens
that are about 1.5 feet long.
Okay. What happens when we contact?
As you do, it vanishes. And inside you briefly, you have this huge spike in spiritual presence. And if you don't cast one of the highest spells you can possibly cast right now, you might take a lot of fucking damage.
Okay.
Might. You might not.
Doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna fucking cast Spirit Guardians as flavor-wise.
Does that have scalable levels?
It does. Does it?
I don't remember off the top of my
I
head.
think so.
Well, Spirit Guardians is a 3rd level spell anyway.
Yeah, but yes, you can.
When you cast a spell
outcast
using a spell slot of 4th level or higher, the damage increases by 1d8 for each slot level above 3rd.
Okay. When you cast it casts as a 9th level spell briefly.
Alright, I did want to say, flavor-wise...
Just want to let you
yeah, no,
expand that.
that's terrifying, but flavor-wise, feeling this energy and knowing, shit, I'm gonna fucking die if I don't cast a 3rd level spell. He pretty much plants his sword into the ground, and as before, it was a bunch of like ancestors that showed up in spirit form to surround him. But that was in the fight 5 years ago. This time, they all surround me as sort of like a shield, like, you know, holding their arms up, kind of thing.
And you were back in one of your rooms?
Yeah, either in one of the rooms in the gladiator, you know, or like in the sands itself where you would fight.
You furnished the house, right?
You're somewhere else in this same place, potentially with Anna to make things simple. There are hundreds of thousands of lizardmen spiritual guardians that just suddenly manifest in the entire arena.
And are they, like, visible to him? Damn, it's that
Wait,
powerful.
From the house?
No, you're at the
we're
arena.
Oh, I was like,
The arena is suddenly
What?
filled with hundreds of thousands of lizardmen, all warriors. None of them look the same.
Do I feel like the intent to harm me or like I'm going to get hurt by this?
He
No.
did it for defense, so no.
Yeah, you're fine.
oh look, it's Uncle Adrit.
Yeah, a lot of Uncle Adret. I think I know where he is. I would make my way generally to where he is.
I guess I'll go too.
Unlike normal, that spell fades almost instantly.
Yeah.
It lasts maybe 2 actions equivalent in time.
It just shows up for a brief flash. Some guy who's, like, working the grounds just sweep, sweep, sweep. Ah! Ah! They're never gonna believe me.
And then that thing just back into pseudo-existence.
Okay, so it's still there.
You get the impression from that it didn't come from it. It was conveying something that happened to it.
Oh, so it was conveying just instant death. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
It died.
I'm not entirely sure that's what it meant, but I'm trying to figure out how to better communicate with this thing.
Feel free to interrupt the scene whenever you.
Yeah, please come in and help.
It's always that tone.
Adrit, you okay?
Whatever you do, Lamel.
I open the door.
Do not make any aggressive moves.
Do I even see it?
Oh yeah. As soon as you see it, I need an Arcana check.
God.
The 15 plus some numbers.
Ooh.
I need you to give it a name. Off your head in like 5,
The
4,
creature?
3, yep, 2.
Heaven.
1. What?
I was gonna say heaven, but then I said heaven.
All right, so its name is Hev.
Okay.
As you name it, I would like you to describe it. Not what I did, what you see.
Okay. Fuck.
Because it's going to change right in front of both of you.
All right. Oh, look, it's my buddy
I knew
Hev.
that was going to put shit tons
Yeah.
of pressure on Jen.
Jen was not prepared. Jen was looking at something.
It's like
She's trying to look at. I'm trying to look at my fucking spells
Trying to learn how
or
to wizard?
abilities.
You trying to learn how to wizard right now?
So you see a creature in front of you, mostly made of dark shadows. It has animalistic like qualities to it. Think cute werewolf.
What? Those two words don't really go together.
That's what I said.
I'm just thinking like a chibi werewolf.
Yeah, I did too.
But when it smiles, it very, very quickly turns into the scariest werewolf you've ever seen in your entire life.
It's going to draw
So-
out
no,
face,
so-
huge ears.
Yeah, well,
me a cookie, please?
he's like that for about 30 seconds, and then he smiles. And then that's my buddy Hev.
What is Hev's purpose in this existence?
I don't know, but existence is pain, so he's not having a good time.
Existence is pain. Go kill Uncle Asher.
Oh god. God. He was put on here to guard something. And if he fails his mission, he knows that is not an option.
You will not get a cookie.
Based on the way you said this, you have now gendered it too.
Yes, I have.
It grows a massive dog.
No, it just, you can clearly tell it's gendered.
It's got some big boy muscles.
It's fine. Okay, continue.
That's what happens when Jen's put on the spot and was not prepared because she was looking to see what her role was.
And remember, it's not Hev, it's
It has a tone of somebody trying to blow into a flute. That's just a flat, that's not a B anything.
Mhm.
Try again.
So, like, am I able to roll an Arcana to understand what the fuck
Oh,
she just
did you want to
it?
know what my role was, or?
Mhm.
Okay, me too. What's the ability I was
Arcana.
rolling?
15.
It's a
Arcana.
19 was the total.
Okay.
Whatever the fuck was happening.
You identified it briefly, and then
Damn right I
something
did.
instinctually, for the way Anna would respond, it would become an imaginary friend for you.
Oh.
Right? But instinctively, you quickly ID'd it as something that is way in the scale of harmful in your head. Like, if you've had nightmares at some point, whatever they might have been, this is the thing that makes them real. And you went, nope. Right as you open the door. You only see the end of it transforming. You don't even get to see really what it looked like originally.
I'm gonna close the door.
You just close it after you name it? Okay. Great.
Oh, I have. Oh, I have.
Oh, hey! Nope.
All right, you said I could make Arcana, right?
Yeah, go for it.
That is a big, fat 25.
It is a huge, really important role. You still have your spirit detection up.
I will say it's H-E and then 3 V's.
As long as you're okay with that after huge spell, 3rd level spell explosion.
I don't think you would have necessarily. Well, you could have lost concentration, yeah.
It's up
Well,
to you.
Spirit Guardians is concentration, so.
Yeah, would have replaced it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Never mind then.
Oops. But I did roll the 25 Arcana, so
So you do know that it is a different spirit now.
she just changed it.
She did something.
And then when she closed the door, it's
Still what it.
still that. Did she just kill it, or
So I've closed the door. So you walked in, I opened the door.
you
Or
said
you knocked on the door, I opened the door, then I promptly closed the door.
I know, I'm just standing here like,
What the fuck,
Like
man?
fucking 8-year-olds.
do I have insurance on Adrit? That's what I'm thinking right now.
So he rolled that.
I should think about insurance.
I'm gonna open the door again. Is it still there?
Have is.
Okay. Is Adrit still there?
It's only been a few seconds, so far.
Yeah, what can happen in a few seconds?
You're right. I could just be like, Adric, roll initiative.
I don't know if I want to fight this thing.
No, I'm not having you roll.
Hello?
I'm gonna raise my hand and try to touch its hand again.
Oh, God. I'm going to go to the bathroom if you're going to be doing that.
It doesn't know what you're doing.
Why?
Because you might explode. I don't want to get your guts
Alright,
all
so I have
over.
opened the door back up. What are the adults doing?
You see
before I
Adric
do
going like he's
stupid-
gonna like high five it, and it just doesn't understand.
Okay.
So how is Hev doing? Is he
Confused.
okay? But I am aware that Hev is bad news.
Have isn't bad news anymore.
Hev is no longer bad news.
The thing
You told it it was supposed to guard something important.
Oh. Well,
It knows what's important,
Did he
but
guard it?
you don't know.
Hev,
Maybe they still are.
how are you doing? I'm gonna look at what Hev is looking at.
Anna,
I have to guard him.
what is this you've done?
I opened a door.
That is not what it was before.
Yes, it was.
Have you ever heard of Fae?
No.
You need to read more.
I'd like to roll a history check to see if Lamel has any idea what's going on, or if it's just strictly above my head.
If you're, because he said Fae,
Yeah.
Arcana.
Arcana?
I mean, I guess no. You could do history. It would be a different answer though.
Yeah.
Good
'cause
choice.
I, in all intents and purposes, is not knowledgeable in that regard.
That's fine.
It's okay. I rolled a 4. I don't know either way.
That sounds about the result. Okay.
Adrit,
Yes. What do you have to ask? Because I'm starting to beep. I will go fix that if I can help it. Never mind.
So
It's already
I want to
fixed.
make sure that I understood you properly.
Mhm.
So it was scary evil thing. I opened the door, turned it into Hev. Hev is not scary evil thing.
Do you remember your first and second dream from when session 0?
No.
Okay. Without giving too much away.
I mean, I can go back and look at the notes if I need to.
Without giving too much away, you've rewrote its existence.
I'm gonna have to go back and look.
That is such an utterly terrifying concept. Why would you do that?
What?
Why would you make her do that?
I didn't make her do anything.
I didn't make me do anything. Probably.
Imagine you just chilling at your homie's crib. All of a sudden, some stranger walks up, rewrites your existence, and shuts the door.
Andrew, you didn't summon this thing in here, did you?
This is not my doing.
Because you've got to fight in like 6 minutes. You got to go.
His name is Hev, guys.
I don't have much of a choice.
Have bends down and start drawing in the sand. Or scratching the concrete, whichever is there.
I'm sure it's like shitty, like Roman concrete.
Roman concrete's better than
I'll give him
ours,
some
but
fucking chalk.
Just me in the sense of that, like it's old. And
Oh,
dried
gotcha.
out crap.
I
Yeah,
give
okay,
him
this-
chalk/charcoal to write properly. What is he drawing?
that thing I described that was around the campfire.
That's what I thought. Okay.
The like orb thing.
The
That
like,
artifact.
The six-winged angel
the six-wing angel
situation.
looking thing.
Lamel, what this...
Bro, we should have pinned that note. I don't know where the fuck it is.
What this was before, I know not what this is now, but what this was before is something way beyond our level of understanding.
His name is Hev.
Not that.
Well, if it's beyond our level of understanding, then I elect to not try and understand it and act like it's not there.
I would rather not ignore it if it
mean.
has the potential to...
You can't ignore Hev.
I'm gonna try stepping
I found
around
my
it.
notes.
It doesn't seem to react to you at all.
Well, there's one way to solve that. Open... Well, if the door's already open, so just slip out the door, close the door.
With the thing in the dirt, does it like remind me of that dragon I saw? Not at all. Does it look like any of the artifacts that Xander showed me?
Which one am I supposed to be looking at? Because I read the first one, that didn't make any sense, so I don't know if I'm supposed to be reading that first one.
Read them all.
Sorry, guys.
This break brought to you by SideQuest Cards and Games, a great little company that provides you amazing gaming supplies. Go check out SideQuestCardsandGames.com and don't forget to use their discount code
TOGG for 10% off your online order of $20 or more.
There you go.
Put myself on the head.
That's because you were so impressed with SideQuest Cards and Games.
Alright, cool. Works for me.
Does it look like any of the artifacts that Xander has shown me?
That's not exactly like one, no. However, its design fits that. Like it, if you were to see, I don't know, the head of, let's use like Egyptian like motifs, right? If you were to see like the head off of a statue that is clearly Egyptian design, you would know that it is Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
But you wouldn't know what because you don't necessarily realize who this is, but you do understand the broader spectrum. That's
Okay, I get the ballpark that it's in there, though. Okay. Oh.
I'm gonna go sit and color with Hev.
Lamel, is it wisest to leave her there?
It starts expanding your drawing.
I don't see why not. Hev is very clearly a great spirit guardian thing. I don't know.
Oh, I don't hold responsibility for anything that happens. Like you said, I've imagined, what, like 3 minutes now?
Yeah. By the way, yours is a naval battle today.
Well, give me home field advantage then. That's fine.
God, what was the rule? First blood, or if you're blooded, you're out, and then it's each boat has 3 crates. Get to 6 crates, you win.
Who said I needed a boat?
Just letting you know the crates have to go in the boat.
All right. Well, I'm assuming you're not participating in it, right?
No.
All right.
No, that'd be too easy.
You haven't changed, you know. After 5 years, I wouldn't have it any other way. Get over here.
You son of a bitch!
And he got Jason.
Yeah.
Good job. I'm breaking because of Jason. Just like, wow. Gone.
I'm just enjoying watching all this shit.
Bromance.
All right. Well, I've got to go.
I leave Anna and the spirit
Demon
together
thing.
to progress the plot because I won't help at all.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I was waiting for. So,
So now with the adults out of the room, child being left with a once deadly spirit to...
I'm going to talk to him. Hey, Hev. And I'm going to point to the artifact he drew. Where is it? Does he point any particular direction?
To the right.
In regards to where I'm at in the city, like, is that, closer to the bridge or the tree or the tower or, some shit?
So the Coliseum's in the central section, and it's technically pointing, if you were to draw the line, I mean, like the clans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have the central.
Mhm.
It's like passing through it from the Coliseum if you're going towards the central area on top. Like where the 5 towers are at.
Okay.
It's pointing through it. Otherwise, it's pointing right.
Okay.
If you want a compass answer, that's different.
That's a survival check, right?
Can you draw me a map? I hand him up. No.
As soon as you take its hand,
Touch.
you're gone. You are sitting around that campfire weeks after it happened.
That's what happens when you leave your kids unattended.
There is the head of a statue.
Hold on, you say weeks after it happened. Didn't you say this is 8 months after it happened?
Or yeah, months. Sorry, not weeks.
Yeah.
Months. Months after it's happened.
So I'm gone for 8 months?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're gone for months.
The incident,
The incident happened months ago.
Oh, yeah.
You arrive, and that statue thing is sitting there around the remnants of what might have been a campfire.
Mm-hmm.
There's not tents or anything anywhere. There's no food. There's no anything. You're in a ruin that nature took back, so much so you can't identify what it is. But I need you to make a history check anyway.
Cool. That's a 5 plus a number.
Oh,
That's a plus a 7.
12.
Jeez. Wow.
Still no anyway.
Wow.
Takes you longer than it should. You have to pace around the place, maybe get distracted a few times.
It's been a minute,
Spend maybe 10 minutes just staring off.
Get bored, set up a roadside knife shop.
You eventually realize you're standing where the old kingdom of Mainz was at.
Hmm.
You're not sure
Was this the
what's-
one beyond the mountains?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you didn't watch last episode at all, did you?
Well, no, I watched a little bit, but I didn't get a lot. Mostly when I was at...
You knew this was coming eventually.
Yeah, I
Sit down.
figured this was what it was, but
Yeah.
Jason's in for some bombshell knowledge.
Okay.
There's a statue thing there.
The statue is that...
Thing it was carrying.
Okay, so it's the angel thing is the statue? Okay, I was thinking it was that tree thing.
Mhm.
Okay, they're all gone then. Oh, minus head.
To give you an idea, the statue is only about yay tall. And you can't even tell what material it's made out of.
Okay. Do I know what'll happen to me if I touch it?
Nope, you have no clue.
Cool. Have. Is it safe? Okay. Fair enough. He does it. It is his job.
Jason just liked my response.
And I was just waiting after she said, do I know what had happened if I touch it? I was just thinking in my head,
And Jen
so
said-
you just learned a wizard, time to learn a new character.
Hey,
All right. Can you take me back? It's a long walk. Alright, it's gonna take me a while, but I'm eventually gonna get back.
No. Starts drawing on the ground, and it's drawing two hands touching. Nothing happens.
Vortex work.
What?
Me.
How far?
As far as it'll take me. I'm hoping Hev will make
I
it
think it's
happen.
only a couple hundred feet, so
I
not
know.
that far.
I was hoping Hev would help with that. It did not. All right. Hev. Vortex warp.
It melts into you just like it did to him. You need to cast your highest level spell right now.
Cool. And that would be I don't know what I prepared.
We all know it's gonna go bad, right?
Vortex warp.
Oh, I could upcast. Can I just upcast
Vortex
That's
warp.
your
The thing I
highest
was
level.
trying to do anyway.
Uh-huh.
Cool, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to do anyway. Just
As
get
you
me
do-
further.
The remnants of the logs that were being burned lift off the ground, and all the elements start arcing between them. Each log burning away into, or freezing or whatever, into a specific energy type. So there are exactly enough to make a ring of sorts. It's not a perfect ring, but it's close. It's just sitting there floating, and you're feeling this energy that's coming off of you, and you're fueling it. You know you're casting magic, but it has no destination.
The
It
magic.
has no target. Let me be
Has-
more specific.
I point like I'm gonna drag the ring of magic to the statue.
You do it to the statue,
Yes.
so
Click, drag.
okay. It divides itself. Another one shows up, just kind of sitting there, and it has no target, but this one is now bound to the statue.
the orbs?
The ring that was created,
Yeah.
it cloned itself. The first one you basically drag and drop the energy into the statue is now kind of hovering right near it with it linked. Second one is sitting here and it has no target.
Hev.
To what?
Hev.
Oh god.
She's not gonna like what happens.
Well, yeah, but I figured it's probably safer than me.
It's cool. Hev instantly disappears, going through the one ring, reappears the one that attaches the statue, and instantly atomizes.
Okay. Well, see, that was smarter than picking me.
Well, now I
I'm
can
not wrong.
I had Hev written down, not anymore.
And is how players can change your story in a second.
I'm so curious
Okay.
what entire plot arc she just deleted.
I don't fucking know.
The one that was linked to Hev
Mhm.
now has no target.
I can get rid of anyone I want. Hey, let me
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's not good. Oh
Um,
boy.
I'm gonna wander outside momentarily.
Parent of the year.
What do you mean outside? You're out or outside. It's a ruin.
Oh, I thought I was in a cave. My bad.
No, you're
I'm gonna look around.
Okay.
Is there an animal, a bird, a squirrel, something?
Yeah.
It's like a portal got into a fucking abyss.
Huh.
Oh. It's like the Tomb of Horrors.
May I ask again, why did you make her do this?
Oh, he didn't make her do shit.
No.
Alright,
I can see the strings.
You really can't.
can I
Because this got cut the minute she was able to control it.
I'm gonna move the one on the statue.
Okay, now they both don't have targets.
Yeah. Just spot on ground over here, bird.
Bird on a branch or bird in the air?
Both.
So 2 birds?
One at a time, but yeah.
2 birds.
One
with
stone.
ring.
The one that is perched is just now perched on the rock. The one that was flying suddenly flies into it and bounces off.
Okay.
Bird is concussed but alive.
Well, I can fix that real quick.
I mean, yeah, good.
I can unalive him if I
No
need
more
to.
than 2 birds were harmed during the filming of this episode.
All right.
I mean, I'm not trying to hurt animals.
I'm gonna see how far I can bring the rings.
What do you mean? Like, how do you try to move them?
The same way I've been moving them.
Which is what?
Click and drag.
Okay.
With my mage hand.
Or as you want to.
Huh, sweet. Alright. I'm gonna get up as high as I can. So I can see.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cast it out as far as I can.
Within sight or just like throwing it? What are we doing?
Inside I would make
Okay.
sense.
So, half mile.
Okay. I would like to assume that I can see that it's a safe spot to land before I jump in the other one.
That's assuming a lot at the maximum range of your vision.
Okay, well, my vision's not super far, I would imagine.
I mean, you're a child. It's probably not as normal as it's going to get.
Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna scotch my way back.
That is going to take forever. You're only traveling at half a mile.
Yeah.
For 600 miles.
Well, it's that or a walk. I'm not gonna fucking walk.
Can't you just think of the location, hun?
I don't know, that sounds more exciting. How far away am I? 600 miles, right?
You probably do this for about How long do you think Adrit's fight is?
45 minutes.
So for about a half hour, you're doing this. And it's getting tiresome. And the gates are starting to break down.
There's no place like home.
So one of them links somewhere, and you kind of see what looks like your bedroom.
Cannonball.
I can assume you linked it to yourself before you did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm cannonballing into the
Yeah.
other one, but yeah.
So the gates completely vanish. Well, one of them does. The other one is sitting inside your room. And you land inside your room inside the house. Completely safe.
Coliseum.
The one gate vanishes. Adric, while you're in the middle of battle, a gate looking thing, well, it's not really a gate, it's this weird energy thing shows up way up in the sky and distracts you briefly as you're jumping onto one of the boats, and it gets you knocked back into the water. Anyway, we continue. The fight ends up going probably Adric's way, let's be honest here.
30-foot swim speed, baby.
At the end of the battle, what did the two of you do?
Probably celebrate.
Okay.
I get a cask of brandy and I bring it out for the familia.
And no one gives a shit where the kid is. Got it.
I haven't gone back to check on you yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I can leave you alone for an hour with some fucking spirit of your creation. It's fine. Dad of the year over here.
Oh my god.
Once I get them situated, I'll head back to the room where I left Anna.
Which you already know she's not there.
What?
There's a whole bunch of scratchings on the ground that weren't there before. There is one that looks like two hands that don't look like the same hands touching each other.
The fuck?
I'm assuming I'd be with him, right?
Only if you want to be.
Okay. Lamel, where did she go?
Well, I'm no detective, but judging by all the scratch marks, she probably beat the hell out of it.
You are no detective. Let's check back home just to be safe.
All right,
I
and
will
so
say, I'm not home.
where did you go?
Ice
The
cream.
arena, right? What?
You're a fucking ice cream.
This teleporting fucking child.
I mean, now she can. Short distances, but now she can. You could probably go get ice cream and get back before they can get there. To be honest.
I know, but it was just funnier for me to not be there.
Okay.
I will be back. It was
No,
just
because then I
funnier
have to
my way.
argue with Adrit.
So a few days later, Priya comes back.
Oh.
She'd been going and coming off and on. She disappears for a couple months ago because of business that she's working on. And when she comes back, she briefly has some general conversation with you all, explaining that what she's been working on is getting to the point where it can self-regulate. But along with that, I think it's a good idea you go and talk to one of my directors.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
You're familiar being muscle for me.
Okay.
I want to hire you. That okay?
Well, we'll talk numbers later, but sure.
Okay.
I got nothing going on this month anyway.
So I need you to meet me in Cole, which is a township that's outside the capital, about 15 miles away.
Okay.
Give or take. I think I'm slightly off on the mileage, but it doesn't matter. For now. I'll correct it for all of you later. Promise. When I pull numbers out of just how it's going to go. And it's weeks, months.
Yeah.
All right. And she tells you she's got to run. Takes off.
Bye, Priya.
Goodbye, Priya.
I assume at some point you go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be
Told
coming
to
with.
do something, I would.
Okay. You get an appointment with one of the directors. It's basically the director of operations. And it takes a little bit. When you travel the distance to Cole, it's not really a big deal. You come out of the basic mountain range portion that is the capital. And it goes more into the low range a bit as you go through one of the central valleys. It's not even a major road. It's kind of a wilderness trail that got expanded, and it's still being paved. The township used to be a nothing, anything 6 years ago. And it's really still not. But you know Priya's been working there for a while. She built up a company that was there. You're not too sure what it's about, unless you wanted to investigate it, and you know some things.
That's my sister, it's fine.
When you arrive at Cole, Cole is different than anyone would have imagined if you've not been there. It looks like a simple, countryside hamlet with, the standard wood second floor, stone first floors, some even wooden and plaster, like mortar first floor buildings too. It looks quaint, very simple to live in. You don't know the population would be any higher than about 500 people. Just enough that people don't necessarily know everybody, but somebody knows somebody in this town. But it's dwarfed very quickly by this series of building constructions that are on the backside of it against mountains again. You were traveling along the range, so that was going to be one way or another. It was up against the valley. The complex looks like a series of slightly steeped, because of how the range is set up, buildings that honestly look like giant cubes. How warehouses typically look. For the most part. They're fortified. It's clearly, there's a clear Balsan military presence. It's not a big force, but it is present. You can see a couple of people in uniform, maybe about 4 or 5 in town. Another 6 to 10 you see in total going towards this complex. At the peak of this hilling portion that would then go into the timber line and nothing would be there, there's a central complex. And that central complex, though most things are made from stone, wood, forms of plaster that's mortared out from rolling stone and stuff like that, this place is shaped and formed from ground stone, just like the rose, making it concrete, which is a very rare structural build. Even rarer about it is the fact that it has metal window framing and what looks like slate shutters that would be normal nowhere. The shutters are not at a reasonable height. No human being could look at them like they're windows. They're like 12 foot high from any one wall. And they're very sequential. You can almost mathematically tell their spacing. Above each of them is there another probably about 8 foot, making the side of the wall about 20 tall. There's a slope of the roof, no gabling, no functional decoration, nothing like that. This thing is just pure purpose. There's a series of small tubes that seem to come out of it that look like they're copper or bronze. Not, they maybe stick a couple of feet above at best. The structure has a second floor to it that seems to be there. This is not entirely built in a square, and it has a couple of large bay-style windows, but you can't see in them at all. They're mirrored out. And they're not glass, which I'm trying to think of who would actually know that. Either way, they're not glass. You would probably suspect they're made from crystal. And they're functioning like prisms. Because you constantly catch slight reflections that's rainbowed coming off of the glass, which lets you know it's not flat either. The strange part of this building, beyond the obvious construction being a little weird, is a central stack that only sticks about 10 feet off of that upper block. And looks like a screw. Without the point or the top, it just looks like a screw going up. And it's double helixed instead of singular. It's wrapped in what looks like silver and bronze all the way up. And it's crowned by this giant ring of this black material. Can't tell if it's stone or if it's some other substance, but it's not reflective, so you know it's not metal or somebody's intentionally dulled it, because you can do either. The one that wanted to blow glass when they were 3 learned why they don't want to blow glass anymore when they took it up blacksmithing, and finds out all of the doors are solid quartz. They're about 5 to 6 foot thick.
That's heavy.
And the handles on them don't exist. Instead, there's the gate that's up in front of it, a couple of military guards that are nearby on the outside of the gate, and they let you in the gate and use this box to radio inside the building. You're told to go up there by a series of people. Eventually, you end up there. To give you a scope, the whole building is probably about 50,000 square foot. So it's monstrous in size for whatever it's doing.
Now, quick, how many of our houses do you think we could fit in here?
2.
Yeah, we could fit 2.
That's awesome and sad. Not real. Not true at all. I was trying so hard because I had a vision of what the thing would look like, and then I kept looking at that, and it was screwing me up. But anyway, I'm pointing to a dice tower. Sorry, you guys can't even see it. Anyway, when the guards message back, the quartz slides into the ground. Just enough you can walk over it, because it sticks up 6 inches. No idea why. On the other side are people in, looks like worker uniforms, much like the guilds would wear. Only they don't have any guild insignias you've ever seen. They're not in jumpers, they're in 2 pieces uniforms. One of them comes out, or comes up to meet you. Inside of the place is very functional. It's got a simple wood desk. It's not really meant for greeting. It's kind of V'd against the door. And there's security steel bars that run from one wall to the desks, and in between the desks and a gate that you can go in at that V in 2 different directions to get through. Both of these individuals in uniforms are carrying sidearms, much like what you would carry, albeit built slightly different. When one of them approaches, who's in front?
I'd kind of be up front, probably.
Okay. As the guy comes up, I'm Hassid.
Nice to meet you. I am Adrid. I didn't hear what he said, though.
Hassid.
Hassid, okay.
It's kind of like Hev, but with more syllables.
With more awesome.
More words.
And less Hev.
More words, more preparation, if you will.
All right, yeah.
Are you going to banish him and turn him into something else?
No,
now?
it's probably fine.
I've been told that you were coming. I'm assuming 1, 2, 3. There was supposed to be a fourth.
There was. I had no knowledge of this.
Oh, hold on, I got it. There's another one of me.
Lamel, did you know there was supposed to be?
I didn't know there was supposed to be a fourth.
There's 4, guys.
We see that. Very good, Anna.
I know the rest of the familia should be stopping by within the coming day.
That's a whole lot more than 4, then.
Well, that's once the contract is finalized. Otherwise, they have work to do.
Did you catch her name?
No.
Hmm.
What? Goes back to his notes. I guess it was only 3. Odd.
Alright, the other me disappears then.
Why do I have an extra space on my paper? Anyway, I'm supposed to escort you to the director. Well, one of them anyway. Care to follow me?
Lead the way.
Thank you kindly.
As you flow down this hall, becomes very clear that the height that you see on the outside does not match the inside, as the ceiling is only about 7 foot high, and there are a shit ton of tubes above your head. Various sizes. Some of them are metal. Some of them are probably a glass or crystal of some kind. The crystal ones have this very bright light radiating off them, stronger than incandescent bulbs would do if you had like those big tubes you put up. It's much brighter than that, but not blindingly so.
Okay.
It's like when you buy the wrong bulb and you're like, oh, nope, okay. And after a second, you can handle it, but you're not happy with it. It's kind of like that.
I totally know all about that because I buy light bulbs.
Change the light bulb and just stare at it before it turns on. It'll be the same result.
Yeah.
Nobody really feels comfortable looking right at it. You get a sense, very briefly, of, well, I shouldn't say very briefly, it's a small hum that just sits there of untapped arcane potential the minute you start walking down this hallway, and it does not stop. It's very low tone in your back of your mind.
Is there anything I can do to passively collect and harness it?
You can try.
Yes.
Light starts flickering.
Plankton, no. Plankton, yes.
Make an arcane check for me.
18 plus some numbers.
Entire building just blackout.
From your
Plus
office,
4. That's a 22.
22.
you receive a quick call on the red line.
Okay.
Sir? Our
Yes.
power levels just fluctuated. We're running just slightly below normal.
Have Xenia check and see which quadrant it's coming from, narrow it, isolate it down to the cable run, and then let me know as soon as possible where that's coming from.
Will do. Okay, hang up. You're brought before a steel door. It says Dominus right on it. Probably has his last name too, but I forgot it.
Kill him.
There we go.
Well, wouldn't you know?
Dominus Cable.
Never heard of him.
The uniformed individual just kind of stands by the door, and you hear from the other side a rapping on the steel.
And it's still Hassan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sir, I brought the people you're supposed to meet with.
Very well. Let them in, Hassan.
As the doors are opening,
The look on your face, that was great.
as the doors are opening, I'm gonna look over to the guy. So how ugly is this guy we're supposed to be? Dominus!
Of course you are.
Greetings, Dominus. It's been quite a while.
Oh, he's quite the looker, isn't he?
How much has changed?
Not too much. He has some gray streaks in his hair. But other than that, he looks almost exactly the same. With the exception of he's at a desk, but he's not sitting down. He's standing above it. And he's not like writing on papers. He's actually working on something. And he is now, as you look upon him, in a completely different suit of armor than what you saw him before. It looks very, very much a combination of Iron Man and a medieval knight. And it looks a little bit imposing. And he's sitting there focusing on something that he's working with, which you notice kind of the centerpiece of what he's working with is a ball probably about the size of maybe a small grapefruit or something like that. That is just a glowing ball of like radiant energy. And he's working with that. And he stops and he looks at you when you say that. And you see just kind of a smile creep up at the corner of his mouth. He's like, I've been so busy, I haven't even gone to see you guys. It's good to see you. You too, Adrid.
It's good to see you.
And who is this young miss?
Oh, you haven't been introduced. This is my daughter, Anna.
It's only been 5 years. How old are you?
That many.
You got some explaining to do.
I think that explains plenty.
So, well,
I concur.
Well, you
let me put it this way.
you
There's
see,
a story to
mister,
tell here.
When a mommy and a daddy get together.
And a stork brings along a little baby, and that's as far as we're going to take this.
Really? I was told they came in the mail.
I thought adults knew this stuff.
Some of the storks take it to the mailbox.
Well, you see, some men don't end up with a mommy.
Everybody has a mommy.
They gotta find a mommy. That's the problem. They never found
She's
mommies.
over there.
So, you're the ones that pre-hired.
I suppose so. We haven't signed a contract yet. Right now we're just scoping out the place and I guess seeing confidential information for no reason. But
Well,
what else is family to do?
well, it would be good to have you around again. My word holds some significant sway with her. I will make sure that whatever contract needs to be done to procure you guys will be in your favor.
No need. We're drafting it at the moment. I appreciate the offer, though.
It would be nice to have some friends around. I've been pretty busy.
I can tell. This place is a monster.
Do you have anything exciting on your desk?
I was gonna say,
Well, there's that glowing orb for one,
Yeah.
but
Anything
There's
beyond
all
the
sorts-
beyond the
sorts-
obvious?
all sorts of machinery. In fact, you would actually look, if I may take liberty to describe my
100%.
office. It's not the typical office. The desk that I'm working at, there is a chair available, but it is more of a workbench than anything. Over in the corner is a full working forge set up. There's another workbench behind me littered with all sorts of tools for pretty much every darn thing you can think of. You see strange, what could only be described as cables made out of some kind of either crystalline or metal structure mixed with fibrous materials, and just kind of weird contraptions and things all over this place. It looks like organized chaos. And there is stuff, almost every corner of the room, with the exception of the floor space. It's clean, but in the areas where things are, there's a lot of them, and because most of them you wouldn't be able to just recognize off the top of your head, it looks like a jumble, even though they are.
Really, it's just a work in progress.
Yes. But yeah, there's a lot of shit around.
While the adults are talking, I'm gonna wander over towards the forge and start to play around with it.
Okay.
Blacksmith.
Go ahead and I'm trying to remember the exact rule for using the tools. Hybrid.
Well, we added a blacksmithing.
smithing
Proficiency or
tools.
something.
It's Smith's tools. If you are proficient in Smith's tools,
I can be.
and Smith's tools typically Constitution based because it's an endurance thing.
Yeah, we're just trying to think of. Yeah, I mean, the tools give you advantage, don't they?
No.
No.
No, the tools, if you're proficient in them, it's
Okay, never mind.
yeah, it's just like any other skill.
Yeah, we already added in a blacksmithing skill for her. So
Go for it.
You're gonna start working on
10.
something.
She makes something competently
I rolled pretty
over the
bad.
course of 5 minutes.
Really? I noticed that.
Probably. I would imagine it was hard to miss me
Yeah.
banging away.
Yeah.
I just kind of keep out of the corner of my eye as we're conversing, and when she kind of looks like she's done, I actually walk over, standing. You're 8-year-old girl, so I assume you're probably like what 3, 4.
Yeah, I'm like
tall?
3-4 foot. Yeah, I wrote it down
Yeah, so
somewhere.
I'm. It's like Adrid. I tower over you. I come over there and look, and I say, not bad technique. May I show you
4 foot.
something?
Okay.
So I take the same material she started with, and a 19 to basically reproduce the same thing, but
less
better,
shit.
but a little bit better. And then, but as I'm doing it, I'm pointing out what you did was this. If you try this, and to show, just try to teach her a little bit.
She starts practicing it, I guess.
So then I come back to these guys again. So you're assigned guard duty, from what I understand. Priya wanted from you guys.
general security detail, yeah. The details of which have not been specified.
Well, I will let you know. One of the details is that you will be working in conjunction and reporting to Evervest, my daughter.
Okay.
But don't worry. She won't be too hard on you.
How bad do I want this job?
How bad do I want to mess with Jason?
Yeah. Fuck around with his daughter. Ooh.
Oh, not that. No.
How do we ruin friendships?
Go ahead. I'll just say, go ahead and try. It wouldn't be Dominus. That would be.
Setting that straight.
Yeah.
Well, you know me. I'm always down for whatever kind of job where I can help.
Good. Then I have a job for you right now. We had a small power leak about 10 minutes ago. Shortly before you came in, actually. If you could help isolate where that came from.
Can I roll like some kind of intelligence check? Alright, just like a flat intelligence roll?
Yeah, because I'm assuming you have no prior knowledge about what's going on.
Yeah, but I figure I could add guidance, right?
Yep.
Okie doke. Alright, that is going to be an 18.
Okay.
Does that tell me that it most likely came from Anna?
No,
Oh.
but you do know it's leaking. You know that it is two things. One, it is controlled but completely unshaped radiant energy. Two, and its name implies, when things radiate, it means they leak through things.
So basically, I just have to tell him he's an idiot?
You interpret however you want to interpret that.
Well, generally speaking, radiant things tend to radiate.
Pardon my French, but no shit.
That wasn't French
The
at all.
question was where? The location of the leak.
I'm not quite sure where. I've never been here before, and I don't have any clue. So, if I did, I would tell you. Promise.
Well, that's what I was asking to see if you could go and find out.
Edred,
I'll look around.
is this energy spiritual or anything?
Mr. DM?
Radiant energy, undefined, just like necrotic, is always spiritual in nature.
Always.
You mind if I try and sense it?
Oh, he actually threw the. Oh, is that the guy?
That was sharp. Ow.
He threw a metal die at you, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes, metal D4.
Ah,
The original Caltrop.
As I'm training to get closer to the spiritual energy, what kind of roll do I need to make to sense
Wisdom.
this? Wisdom? Just straight wisdom?
Well, you probably should make an Arcana check using wisdom instead of intelligence.
Okay.
Cool.
And since we haven't formulated an ability, this is going to get fun.
That is a 14 plus 2, 16.
Okay.
Oh, come on, throw it at me. Yeah.
Try not to stab each other.
So the
I like it.
end goal is exactly what now? So I make sure I don't say something I shouldn't.
Basically, all I'm trying to do is... I see what he's doing, and I'm basically just going to focus my key and try to source it out to see if I can feel where that leak is coming from, or feel where the energy is being drawn towards.
Okay. So as you're concentrating on this, it's not something you're not unused to. Actually, they've been around you so much, they're used to it too. Dominus, on the other hand, is not used to you doing stuff like this. And magic in the world is built around three primary sources and/or principles. You're manipulating your personal source. So you're not shaping anything around you, you're not defining anything. So when you push out to see like that and feel things, you're essentially sensing things. So what Dominus is feeling is this pressure of essentially your key pushing out into the world. And it's whatever limits you can get away with, and what's pushing back against you is what you start sensing. In this case, you can tell that there are 3 defined auras in the room, which not unusual for people to have. They have their own...
Like density.
Yeah, they have their own density, their own sense of flavor and smell, if you will. Not taste-wise, but...
Yeah, just
Unless
like
they have their own
associating with,
style.
like how you would think a color tastes.
Yeah, things like that. But when you push against the structure, you feel 2 sources that are very dominant, and then probably a few hundred smaller ones constantly going on and off, on, off, on, off, on, off, all over the place. And it's so much it overloads you briefly, and you snap right back without any good answers.
From what I can tell, the leak isn't strong enough that you could ordinarily sense it. You'd need to check every single...
Maybe I'll have to get back to me on that.
I could delve a little bit deeper if you need me to. Andrew, I think I'm going to... This has been a day since the whole... At least a day since the travel, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I'm going to cast that once a day detect spirit things, since you said this thing was spiritual in nature, so always.
Right.
Do I sense it now as I start to sort of walk around and whatnot?
So there's no definable spirit to ID, but there is the energy itself. It's kind of like how the ley lines work. In this case, it's been divided between its 2 primary flows. There's always an ebb and flow occurring at the same time. They've been forcefully divided by something and have been given... It's like diverting a river, telling it where to go.
Well, but that piece of equipment we actually call the divider plate.
My point is he doesn't know this.
We tend to name things what they do.
There you go. It makes sense.
All right.
So, yeah, it's essentially been... And the sources are still here. In that process, you can also then feel and notice that there is a ley line below the building that is being pulled from.
Do I know where it's being pulled from?
your sight doesn't go through things that would already have a source.
Okay.
Like
So
that. No more in detect magic has limits on distance.
right, I'll relay that then to Dominus and say, well, there are natural ley lines beneath the building, and it seems as though something is.
I know. That's where we're drawing the power from.
It seems as though it's being drawn somewhere else, is what I was trying to say.
No, I think you misheard and misunderstood the DM, and he was saying it was being drawn from the ley lines to the building.
Hold on, let me interpret God for you, bro.
Yeah.
Let me know everything about your
You're talking about my machine, okay? I know what it does.
Why did you ask my help?
I just asked your help to find a leak.
I don't know where it is. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Well, regardless, we're not technicians by any stretch of the imagination.
No. I just felt that perhaps with your abilities you may be able to hone in on it. I had no idea what the hell you just did, but it was quite interesting.
I've learned to express my inner strength.
Interesting. Well,
We learned a lot of
it's,
things over the
what time of the
last-
day is it? When
They probably arrived mid-morning.
mid-morning?
In the process of you looking around your project you were working with, you take a glance over and there's no light to it at all.
The orb is gone dim.
The orb's there. The light in it's gone. You do know it self-regenerates, but,
Yeah, but still.
it's been out, which is the weird part.
Can I do an intelligence check to make a connection here?
Curious what your suspicions are.
14 total. Based on the fact that they tried to help, Dominus ain't dumb. Curious child who has natural talent with a forge. A leak that seems to happen about the same time that they arrive. And then in the same office as I am in. And all of a sudden I'm losing power on the stuff I'm working with.
Seems logical.
Leaning towards one of these three, possibly not the two that were attempting to help me find the leak.
It's like,
My mom's a blacksmith, guys. He doesn't fucking know me.
No, but he's smart as fuck.
so remember how you're going to save for later? You're probably not going to get away with it.
I know.
So you probably realize what's going on, turn for a bit, and you realize that there's a crude copy that does have a glow in it. As Anna's stuffing it into her backpack with probably a stuffed animal she brought with too.
As she's doing that, I just casually walk over to one of my workbenches. I grab a fairly interesting looking tool that looks kind of like a giant shears, but it's got some crystals and some weird stuff on it. Walk over towards her, look at her, and just say, if you don't mind, go out behind her back, just kind of focus for a second, and then snip the air, and her orb goes poof, black, as if the power supply was just cut from it. The spiritual power supply.
I burst into tears.
Which is what the energy type is called.
Yep.
You all briefly feel a little bit warmer in the room. That's about it.
Wow.
I would appreciate you not pulling the energy from the things around here. Especially wherever you caused that leak, if I may be correct, because do that too much, and quite possible that you, us, and 100 miles around us will no longer exist.
Well, now you're just encouraging her.
More importantly, if something goes wrong here, Balsan as we know it no longer exists. And
Yeah.
remind me why we have this thing so close to the capital.
Also, remind me why it can be so heavily tampered with by an 8-year-old. That seems like a bit of a security concern.
It should not have been at all. that should not have been anywhere near possible.
I'm
So what's your
still
fail-safe
crying.
for this in the future?
Don't allow children into the building.
Sounds like a pretty sound plan to me.
I imagine people who aren't children, if a child could do it, should also be able to tamper with your machinery just as effectively, though, Dominus.
No,
You get more.
whatever she did is a bit unique.
She is a unique child.
Still crying.
Sort of aside to Dominus, Adrit says, I'm not entirely sure this matters.
Am I
I'm
able
not
to
sure if we'll be
rekindle
bringing
her
her
orb?
along if this contract goes
No.
through, but
He literally physically broke it.
her
Okay.
magic actually is a bit different.
You could
I've
spend a
seen
key
the way
point,
it-
put it in there, and fake it for a little bit, but it won't last long.
I've
Well,
seen.
that's why that shouldn't have been able to happen. But
Hear me out.
I'm listening.
I've seen the way it shapes spirits rather than calls upon them.
Oh, he's talking about that thing I did a couple minutes ago.
That's more than once, actually, but yeah.
Interesting. But no, that should not have been possible, period, because that whatever she did should not exist. When I
Well-
finish and I go back to the orb on the table, which the energy is now back to it. When I finish installing these at all of the structural safety points, even that will be impossible.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna grab the scissors and randomly cut at the air because I don't know where the fuck the cord is. And his orb.
And while you're cutting at the air, I just telekinetically shove the scissors out of your hands onto the workbench.
I cry again.
I'm gonna go over to Anna and just kind of grab her by both arms and let's do the dance play. Stop fucking things up.
And on that note, we're going to break. Holy crap. I just imagine an 8-year-old on this giant lizard who is now like teetering back and forth with it on its feet.
Oh, fuck.
We'll be right back after a brief break. Please stay tuned.
Don't worry, I've got
Remember-
plenty of places around here, not in this building, that you can fuck shit up as much as you want. Just not in this building.
Remember, there's always the chat that is open. There
Oh,
are super
God.
chats that are available. We will read them in funny voices or just in whatever you want to.
Oh, fuck.
Just within reason. Well, maybe not.
Yes, no, as Andrew was saying, please, we're going to go to break. If you want, send us super chats, super stickers, whatever. If you send us a super chat after the break, we will read those out in a funny voice. And, kind of bring that into the entertainment with us. But we'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Alrighty. Catch you in a second. And we're back. Welcome back, people. We appreciate you being here. So, doesn't look like there was any super chats except for this try again.
Yeah, that was earlier.
I know.
That was when I wanted you to try again.
I don't know what it was. I had to try again, though.
Touching the hands.
Keep
Oh.
doing it.
And then you eventually did. So.
So it worked out. I was like, I figured this was it. Whatever.
And you fucking
Where's-
killed your friend.
Hey, it was a lesson I'm glad I used on him and not me. To be fair, I thought they were going to switch spots. Turned out that was not the case. I forgot
Oh.
what spell I cast.
You don't. Yeah, no.
Fine.
We'll add the spell you actually cast to your list later.
Cool.
Oh.
So, unfortunately, Zach's prediction was accurate from 2 hours ago, or 3 hours ago, and you will be getting a nice little spell in your book
Hey, I'll take it.
Oh, wow.
that you can't cast.
That's fine.
For a long time, but
Can-
eventually.
At least it's there.
If
Yeah.
I try hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good life lesson, you know?
If you want to add it, you can. It's called Gate.
I don't know how to add things.
Yeah.
Well, you can't add it on Beyond. It won't let you.
Oh,
I can't add things.
never mind. Then I'll take
Even
care of
if I knew how.
Yeah, you can't do that because you're not high enough level to do it otherwise.
See, but if I had a piece of paper, I could add that shit on.
it. I like how you want to. Never mind.
I mean, she's just promoting us to cancel the D&D Beyond subscription.
Get fucked.
So, we left off with a heartwarming reunion.
That's a word.
A heartwarming orb.
Yeah.
Had a orb. Not no more.
And after some time, more conversations, things like that, you guys catch back up. You probably stay a day or two waiting for members of your familia to come into town. There is a discussion on terms. Most of your people are going to get paid about 3 gold a day. The company itself is going to net probably close to 1,000 over the course of the year plus compensations. It'll be up to Priya's company to outfit your people beyond anything that you bring in requisite. And they'll do requisitions, things like that. The primary complex, the one that you were in, that Dominus is in, is not part of the contract. It can be made slightly better if you want to negotiate. That's on you. These are the general terms that she comes up with. That makes some sense.
What was the contract to do security work?
Basically,
I think you have higher charisma than I do.
I do.
he's basically doing private security on a high scale.
With the exception of that one building.
Which is being taken care of by her own company and people.
And has my daughter kind of in charge of the security.
Do we know how old your daughter is?
You haven't asked.
Well, no, I haven't.
Priya, as far as the contract, I see no issue with us maintaining general security around the premises. I will say access to the main facility will be necessary.
No.
In the event, I'm being specific here, in the event that there is an outer breach, and I understand that emergencies are emergencies. I just want that to be aware that there will be some crossing in that regard, whether it's intentional or not.
So in other words, if somebody gets past you, you want permissions to go in after it.
Correct.
Pretty please.
I want to be able to pursue, because...
At that point, sure.
Okay.
Because it'll probably be necessary, but I'm sure most of your people are going to run the other way, but that's fine.
Most of them would, but you know I would.
No, you're the only idiot that runs at a mountain while it's exploding.
Yeah.
She does have a point.
I'm also the only idiot publishing art of
Yeah, please
our
stop
father. Yeah.
that. I would like you to stop that.
Xander told me to stop too, but honestly, it kind of just eggs me on.
Fine. Keep doing it. Display it in your home. I'm sure your daughter will love it.
No, it's not for her. It's for the masses.
I'm a people man, clearly.
Look, I left Dominus in charge, and he's more than aware of the operations. As long as you're willing to accept basic terms for it, I wanted to hire you before I even brought it before a private company that he didn't know. Past that, I still have some things in the capital to attend to, so I'll be there probably in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
She clears out the sending stone, which is more permanent than normal sending stones, obviously.
The talking stone.
Not talking stone. There's sending stones and talking stones.
Close enough. I still caught it technically.
Just upcasting sending, right?
Sure. That's
And
up
then
to you.
permanency and on objects. How do we make cell phones? We don't. Can we make tethered phone lines? Yes, one-to-ones.
We make tethered rocks.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming by now somebody shaped him into something that makes it look like you can hold
But
it.
it's so much cooler if it's just a rock.
It's a giant pair of lips.
It's not a boulder. It's a rock.
It's actually about this big in this shape.
No, that is unwieldy. It would be a handle.
Well, no, there might be a handle on it, but
Yeah.
it's actually got a thing that sticks out from the back that you can kind of put your fingers around.
There you go, a little strap or something.
Well, no, those little things you can connect on the back that like pop out.
Oh God. You mean
You mean a phone stand?
these
It's not a
things?
stand. Yeah, well, not really a stand, but there's like circular ones that like they pop out and pop back in. They're flat. Yeah, it works. It works similar to that, except it's not like a ring.
Anyway, guys, this is not why the stream tuned in.
It's fine.
For us to fucking discuss puppets.
It was so fun.
On our next episode of DMC, we discuss cell phones in magical worlds.
That's a bad anime.
Yeah. Anyway, nonetheless, you're left with what she has as general terms. You can sweeten the deal, negotiate it with Dominus. The finer points, make a persuasion.
Could I have that
you
D4
can
back?
have it back.
You're supposed to throw it.
It fell out of my hands.
Right at his face. That way, if he doesn't catch it on camera that you did it.
He shot me with an imaginary arrow, I'll have you know.
A several.
It really imaginarily hurt.
That is a 15.
Okay. You get a slightly better deal.
Imagine raises the total up for the company to like 1,200.
Sure.
Per person?
No.
No, that's the company's.
No, that's the company's gains. Everyone's still getting the 3 gold per day.
They're getting room and board to some extent, too.
Yeah, because I'm also going to be using that 1,200 to sweeten up security around here and additionally get better equipment for everybody.
Okay.
I don't have any equipment, Dad.
You're not in this.
So?
I just brought you along because I couldn't get a babysitter today.
I'm just saying, I like equipment, Dad.
And Mom keeps working.
Well, you could make equipment probably better than I could buy you.
Actual. Anyway, as the day wanes on, eventually, you're required to meet the daughter. Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
Sure, I'll do it.
Sure. Okay, that's fine.
So, striding up to you is a young woman, looks to be in her early 20s, but already pretty high ranking for her age, with it, and obviously wearing Ministry of War uniform of an officer. And she's relatively tall, like Dominus. She's probably about 5'10", so fairly tall woman, but lean, with lean muscles, not currently wearing any armor beyond like a more of a uniform, like leather breastplate, and some like arm guards and things like that. And she is carrying a long sword on her hip. Her hair, pulled back into a nice tight ponytail. Dark black hair, and the same kind of semi-glowing eyes that Dominus has. You can definitely see the family resemblance.
Yeah, the ears are like the exact same.
Mm-hmm. And she walks up to you confidently and says, "Ah, so you're in charge of the security forces around the perimeter. Excellent.
Yes. Lamel's here. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Effervescent. I have a hard time saying that because it's not effervescent. But Effervescent Caleb.
Effervesce.
But just call me Effie, please. I prefer not to go by the formal name.
And you just call me Lamel then.
I am
Excellent. She looks up at you a little bit. Like, what? Interesting.
Just nice to meet you, Effie.
You as well. My father has actually told me quite a bit about you two.
All bad things, I assure you.
We say the exact same, different thing, I mean. Just exact opposite.
All good, all bad?
I was like, hopefully good things. Terrible things,
She smiles a little bit at that and says, actually,
Yes.
surprisingly flattering.
Now, that is something that's going to surprise me today. Dominus complimenting me? Whew! I need to call Priya.
And she looks at you and she says,
Sending stone. Lamelt here. No.
and
I'm going to crack this motherfucker.
and who is this young lady?
Anna Tier.
And she reaches out her hand to shake your hand. He shakes it very nicely and says, I hear you gave my father a little bit of trouble the other day.
I've never caused trouble ever.
Don't be modest. Keep it up.
She is quite the handful.
No. No.
She's a young child. She's supposed to be.
So understand we'll be in a direct working relationship for this operation.
Yes, I'm in charge of overall security and primarily that of the
The main
complex. But I leave it up to you in your discretion as to how you want to handle the perimeter. Just keep me informed if there's anything you need, and of what the plans are, so that I know how to respond in kind should we have any kind of security breaches or things that we need to deal with as a whole.
I would like to start this out by getting a map of the compound, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. We can do that.
Fantastic. Work for the DM!
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
He's gonna end up making me draw that shit. You know that.
It's not my fault.
As long as I don't have to try.
It's alright, I got incarnate.
Otherwise, the only other thing I had on my mind was convincing your father, for the majority of us, go get drinks. Celebrate.
Alcohol! Alcohol!
Not for you. Not for you.
I'm sure that wouldn't be very hard.
There we go.
Mom gives you wine.
But
She wants you to go to sleep sooner.
if I could recommend, there's actually a little place in town that, albeit this is a smaller community, other than the facilities here, it's actually fairly decent. Dinner, drinks, all that.
Sounds good to me.
I'm down.
Alcohol.
So I'm assuming a few hours later, everybody meets up. What's the name of this place?
It is it's actually simply called the Watering Hole.
Oh, we're gonna make this simple. Okay.
Man, I wanted the honey pot.
No, we already have the honey pot.
I know.
It's the Watering Hole.
Okay.
At least it's not the upturned apple cart.
I mean,
Or the
That's
salty
not-
barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, Adrit was trying pretty hard to get overturned cabbage cart.
Yeah.
Didn't work out so well. I hope, like, 5 years past, someone 5 years in the past had a really good day finding that.
Well, that cart was gone the next day.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't go
hope-
back for it. It's gone.
I know, I'm just saying, I hope someone 5 years in the past had a really good day finding that, free cabbages.
Okay.
Like someone had the disdain of smelling fucking rotten
Rotting
cabbage.
cabbages.
It's a gift.
A blessing from the Lord.
Wow.
Please prepare the holy hand grenade.
So as you go into this place, it's meager but wonderful. As I hiccup saying it. Yay, I finally got it out, but didn't get it out. Been trying so hard. No, it's got the lofted ceiling because it's built out of actual fallen timber, and it's supported up in a box frame. So it's got the and then all the way across.
Like salt boxes on.
Yeah, it doesn't really have an upper floor that is. It's probably lived in by the owners more than anything. It's not like an inn that you can stay in or anything like that. It seats maybe 50 in this place. A couple of quiet tables, a couple of clearly rowdy tables. Most of the rowdy tables are actually these long spliced wood, spliced log ones. And all it is a quarter log put on legs with the rest of the log turned into benches that run the entire rail down it.
Just enough room for drinks, basically.
It's probably yay wide.
Yeah, enough room
Right.
for drinks to fill it up.
Along the entire place is a series of planks that are sitting at each of the stations. And it basically looks like a bunch of little bars that have been glued together into a board. Similar to how maybe a cutting board might look, or just a board. It's at every single station, along with a knife and a 3-prong, like, pounded metal fork. Nothing else is on this table whatsoever. First person, goes to be brought in. First little group, they're sat on a log, and they just sit people in the log as they go down. It's a communal dining table, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
The place serves the same thing to everybody every day. So one day to the next, it'll change what it's going to make for the most part. Usually it's weekly. But everybody eats more or less the same thing. They're not going to make like, I want this.
They don't take special requests.
Yeah, that's not happening.
It's not made to order. It's we have pig today.
Yeah, basically.
I'm just picturing medieval times right now.
This is going to get a little bit more extreme than that. You're going to love it. You hear, as everybody's kind of filed in, the place is not rowdy, but it's busy. It's got about 20-odd people within it. The small bar that's up there's got about 4 regulars that are well into probably their evening refills, even though it's not nighttime yet. The town drunk is part of those 4.
Somehow Richard is too.
No, Richard is definitely not here. I took care of him. Oh man, if we had a graphics team, there'd just be a pause, and then the CSI Miami moment or something dumb. Yeah, anyway, as everybody's sitting there and you guys are getting ready to be sat, this very homely, motherly-looking lady comes up in, it's not a maid dress, but it looks like a maid dress in the sense of how it's designed. The front having the white, but it's like this tannery brown. It's not deep or anything like that. It's just there. She's got an apron on. And, what can I do for you?
Alcohol. Alcohol.
Ignore her.
She's not too far off, though.
Yes.
Service for 4?
Yeah.
5.
Yes.
I'm assuming they're both.
Effie, yeah.
4 and a child.
Right. Anybody else going to be joining?
Not that I know of.
Well, we get a surprise guest, but I don't think so.
Private table or communal?
Private.
Okay. One moment. And she goes over. A woman that is very comfortable in her own strength. Grabs a hold of this white hardwood table that you don't know what it weighs, but you know it's enough. And just over to another one to make a table big enough for 5. Picks up the chairs, one in each arm, and just kind of brings it over. And she walks back over. Come on.
Now she gets what's going on.
Yeah, she does.
Then you hear this loud cry out, "Taters!" And this person with a basket goes up to the communal table, and everybody's board goes upright, and potatoes that are baked start rolling down the table.
I want to go to that table.
The table does seem like more fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You see another one that comes up with a series of bowls dropping sweet and sour cabbage. There's cabbage rolls that have probably been stuffed with, minced pork and some goodness. There's some stewed cabbage and sausages that's being served as large plates that are being brought. They're winging the plates down this board. When you sit down at the table, it's been oiled multiple times to the point where your hands across it a little. When you first sit, you think at first it's wet, like somebody just didn't wipe the table. No, it's just well loved.
Yeah, she's got that good varnish.
It's got that good varnish. The log's got to be at least that good because this stuff's going down like it's a skee ball.
Yeah.
It's just there. Person on the end, of course, has their board up so that way it all stops. And then they start passing things. But most of the stuff is just slid down from one end of it.
That's adorable.
This occurs multiple times throughout your guys' stay, so I might just yell random shit as it goes.
Taters!
Refills on cabbage! You see a couple of bowls start sliding down.
So
And
do we not get any of that at this boring table, or?
You still get served the same things.
Yeah. It happens at our table too. It's just smaller.
Yeah, they're just gonna
We get
throw
our
them
own
at us
private
instead.
show of it.
What they do is they come out with this large wooden board. What it really is a log that was
Family
cut this
style,
way across the
if
table.
you will.
And and it's all placed on there, and the entire thing is put on the table, and they spin it slightly enough,
Yeah, family style. I see.
and it's like a center thing that's there. Nobody that's in this place lacks for eating. Nobody in this place doesn't know what skipping a lift day or a leg day is either. None of these people look weak. They all look like they work in fields day in and day out and eat hearty and well all the time. Which is pretty well and good because there's a lot of farmland around here. And it's growing hardy, leafy vegetables for the most part, and some root vegetables because it sure is and growing wheat and grains. Otherwise it would die in the snow. And of course there's a hog house, but that's a different story.
Well, to a fair and long reunion.
Honey meat?
Pepsi. Yes. So what have you been up to?
Starting fires in the capital, learning I'm not even a tier, lots of fun stuff.
What?
Well, you already knew how I was a bastard, right?
Yes.
Well, it turns out
These didn't meet up. They went
there's a lot of lack of info. Well, essentially, I already knew that the old King Maxim wasn't my father. I then learned much later that the Queen is not a tier either. And since I wasn't the offspring of the king, well, I'm not a tier at all until I got claimed as one.
So you are a tier now, just you weren't before.
I guess so.
What were you before then? Do you know?
God, what was the name of that stupid country in the north?
Mates.
Yeah, that was it.
It's not the only one. The first thing that would come to mind would probably be Zillertel, but that works too.
But I overheard the conversation, so I know the specifics.
You're right. My bad. I'm going to just shut up and be my GM self. Right in my corner where I belong.
Hey, you're fine, you're fine.
I'm just saying also Zillertel would be
Yeah.
more recent kingdom.
But basically learned all that, then got reinstated by Xander into the clan tier and have been working closely with them and Priya. Really just fostering that good family connection while pissing everyone off at the same time. You know how I operate.
Yes. Yes. That sounds accurate from what I remember.
Oh, you've probably seen my art pieces being publicly vandalized.
I've been busy focusing on other things.
No, I'll make you something sometime. I'll get you a nice landscape you can hang up in your office.
He's quite good.
Be interesting to see. I'm still curious as to how did you find out about this? Because I would have.
I have a name.
I would have thought that that would have been something you would have said 5 years ago that you had a child.
Well, Dominus, that would require me to have known she existed 5 years ago.
You did.
I suppose I did. How about 5.5 years ago?
Okay.
So, shortly after we arrived at the capital and we got separated from you, I mean, probably within the same day. Priya is taking us into the tier communal family area, right? I still forget the name of that bloody fucking cave.
The ancient
Cave of
hall?
Wonders.
The ancient hall.
No. Where the,
Cabbage Hall.
basically where all the tier homes are in the clan district.
The Hall Ancients is a specific structure.
Okay.
Yeah, that was where the boat was
This is
held.
where, like, the chieftain house is. We arrived at Priya's home, and little do I know, her mother and her are there waiting for me. So Priya
Quite
knew
the
before I
surprise.
did.
I'm honestly surprised she didn't tell me.
It wasn't really your business, so she didn't need
No,
to tell
but
you.
she doesn't keep too many secrets from me.
Well, when she keeps them, it's usually for safety concerns. Beforehand, if information like that got out, it could, you know.
Yes, but it has been 5 years.
Are you sleeping with Auntie Priya?
You do seem a bit grumpy, Dominus, are you?
Effie,
I was gonna say Effie gives you a look, then looks at the child, and just does this.
Oh.
That's all she can do. What else she gonna do?
hold on. Yeah, Dominus's face turns completely red when you do that.
And I thought you had a wife.
There's a lot going on.
Ugh. That is not
Goes
a
from
no.
red to white immediately, I imagine.
Not white, more a different kind of red. When you
Anger
mention
red.
that.
There's the Dominus I know and love.
The grumpy old man.
Yeah,
Well,
the grumpy,
he's-
reliable one.
He's been out and around dealing with family things. I graduated the Socio-Arcanum.
Really?
Yes, I was actually sponsored by our king. It is the one thing I think I can be truly prideful in.
You should be.
You've got more to be prideful than just that, Adrid.
Well,
You've
you
recently been a great warrior.
You should definitely be prideful of that, though. That is, as a graduate myself, that is a extremely
I
wonderful
hate
accomplishment.
getting the
Thank you.
Hathor in the Dominus voice.
but he does have a point as well. Afterwards, well, during technically, but only a little bit during, I joined up in the arena with him, and now I compete there.
Contracted through the Manhattan Company.
If I were
Interesting.
any other, I'd probably fail, seeing as compared to the others of my kind, I am a bit of a runt. But I can hold up well against the average man.
I pull something out and lay it on the table.
Bless you.
What is this thing you...
What is this thing?
I don't know. It depends on you guys are talking.
I mean, Effie's not exactly blind here.
You know those?
Books?
No, like
Hands.
Clams!
the leather that like chefs will keep their knives in.
Yeah, the knife roll.
I got one of those. Full of little daggers I've made.
She pulls out a little plastic sign, $2 per knife.
I'm just gonna start playing on the table.
Okay.
So anyways. Little Anna here has been privately tutored and has been learning blacksmithing, as you can see.
She definitely has a talent for it.
She got into it really, really young and just, for whatever reason, has loved it. For the life of me, I can't begin to wonder why. But hey, everyone gets their kick from something.
Well,
She pulls out 2 silver.
if and when I have time,
Extorting.
3 silver.
if and when I have time, and if you and she are amenable, I wouldn't mind teaching her some things.
She's using it as a steak knife now. Effie is. She's bought a knife.
That's entirely up to you. I mean, if you want to privately tutor her,
Well,
that's
no,
fine.
it's her choice.
Hear that, Anna?
Huh?
Dominus here wants to teach you a thing or two about blacksmithing.
If you want to learn.
Am I not good enough?
Oh, no, I'm sure you're better, and this will be actually you teaching him. But on the off chance that he has something to teach you, you could learn that too and be that much better than him.
Sausage round.
Sausage round. You know, out of context, that is such a powerful phrase. Just sausage round, fight. Da, 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 da.
Oh, Lord.
Sure, why not?
Alright. Continue to have more drinks.
When at least these 3 adults aren't looking, I'm going to steal a sip of alcohol, probably from her, because I feel like she's going to be the one to let me do it the most.
Okay. Sleight of hand. At disadvantage.
Not great.
How about what's not great?
I don't know. Hold on.
See, I'm sitting at a 19 passive perception.
Yeah,
Where?
I was wondering about that. I'm
5?
pretty high too.
So you're going to steal it from her, right?
Oh no, my perception.
She goes like this and trades real quick with Lamel's. So you end up taking his.
Oh. Okay, I thought you meant like...
When you go to do this,
Yeah.
it's empty because Lamel drinks the whole thing every time.
But he gets a refill, yes?
Sure, but that passive perception, by that point, they caught you.
Yes,
I don't say anything.
but I have
That's fine.
magical ways of getting the alcohol.
Anna, have I told you that alcohol is very, very bad for you?
You're drinking it.
Yes. It's bad for you.
When you get
No.
older, you begin to start doubting yourself.
I am
a lot.
older.
And Adrit doubts himself quite a bit.
Me
so he
too.
drinks quite a lot.
Me
As you can
too.
see-
I'm not expecting a jab today.
As you can
Lamel.
see, I have drinking more of these than anyone else. So, what does that mean, Anna?
It means mommy loves me more than you.
Damn right it does. I'll have another.
They just come by with a pitch, with like this giant pitcher.
Contemplating.
Ugh.
You know, I'll tell you a story, actually. There was this one time I drank so much that I accidentally almost entered into a contract of my life.
Can I vortex warp his drink into my cup?
It has to be an object. Can't be the contents like that.
All right, the cup in front of me.
I'm just imagining the cup like falling down.
I want you to describe what that looks like to you.
So you're all casually sitting here. You see a ring start to form around his cup, just like you would a coaster, and it glows, and then it in front of me.
So it just like drops into the table and pops back up over you. Okay.
And that happens while he's
Reasonably,
telling this story.
I noticed my drink trying to
Oh,
disappear.
I would imagine.
Oh no, athletics. Roll athletics contested.
Contested. That versus you, I think.
No, it's versus Effie.
Oh. While that's happening, he was telling his
21.
story.
You're gonna do it, and her hand is between the lip of it, essentially like this, stopping it from getting to your mouth. And she's way stronger than you, so she just
Oh yeah,
puts it back on the table.
I'm fucking 8. Of course, she's
Yeah.
stronger than me.
She just puts it back on the table and slides it over to Lamel, and then hands you a glass of water.
I get up and I walk to the communal table.
As she's walking away, I kind of just grab her by like the back of her clothing and just sit her back down in the chair.
I mean, she's big enough now. You're not gonna be able to just drag her like that.
Why do you want it?
We're back again. Sorry about that. Trying to get some issues that have been plaguing us back. All right, so Thomas gets up, goes to use the restroom. You're left with Effie and the 3 of you.
2. Oh, it's the communal table.
Now give me a moment, sorry.
So, Effie, what is it in a working relationship that you work or you look forward to with a partner like this? Outside of probably open communication, that seems to be a pretty standard operation.
Honestly, that would be the most important of all things. It's just coordination. Really not setting up plans and positions, movements, postings, without crossing that. I've got 15 people to my current command. It was 35, but things changed, hence
Hence the
Where you went and got
extra
you.
muscle.
I don't know exactly how many you're bringing on. That's kind of up to you. But the power level to handle this facility, the factory, 2 factories, I should say, a refinery, 6 warehouses, the main complex, even though we're not in the building, the grounds, and then all the living areas, which aren't inside the fencing. Yeah, 30 is going to be our par. It's going to be a minimum, just to have a decent cycle. We usually operate in 2 shifts, but we can put it in 3. We have enough personnel.
I find 3 is more efficient, just in general. I plan on bringing a few extra on board initially until we get in the swing of things, and then we'll thin it out from there.
Okay.
Everything back.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Any good way to contact you, since we'll be working on the same base? I imagine you'll be in the main complex, which we're not supposed to go in for.
No, actually, I'm not. I don't work in the main complex either.
Really?
I tend to work out of the 3rd warehouse. I have a full setup in there, and we have a barracks that's set up outside the building on the back side of it for
Okay.
military personnel.
We'll have to get introduced to that side of the complex then.
Easy enough. Father over here handles most of the internal complex with the people that Bria left him.
I saw that with his nice little office.
Yeah, I mean, operations must do you well, right?
Does just fine.
Oh, did I see another gray hair spring up?
Don't make me
2
drink
more
you under the
tickets,
table.
please.
Don't worry. Everything will turn out fine tonight. No more stress.
You know who I bet could drink you under the table now?
Me.
Adrian here. No, not you.
Really?
These are his words, not mine. But I'm always up for a competition if you are offering.
No.
After
Not
he slides
tonight.
her cup over to you.
Not tonight.
I'm still grabbing
I
the
still
D20.
have things to do this evening before I head to bed.
Respectable.
Seltzer water.
It's like she's teasing the 8-year-old.
It has what tastes at first like tea in it too. So it doesn't taste right. You don't know exactly what beer or ale would taste like though.
Yes, I do.
Your mom gives you wine. That's not the same.
Okay.
That's to get you to sleep.
I'm gonna cast a spell and then walk.
What are you casting?
Oh,
Well, I'm sure you do know.
I do.
But if you're casting a spell,
It's like conjure elemental or something.
It's getting hilarious.
does it have any
have a feeling.
verbal components?
I will tell you in just a second.
Looking up the spells. Looking up the
It
spells.
does not have a verbal.
Somatic.
Yes, but I'm small enough to do it under the table.
That's sleight of hand.
It's still sleight of hand check.
You can do it at advantage because you can hide your hands.
So,
I don't notice.
16 plus a number.
I'm too busy drinking.
Cool, because it's not loading.
From seeing my child cast spells enough, could I get an idea of what she's casting just from, like, watching her? I'm obviously not interfering, but I'm just curious.
I got a 27 on perception.
It's okay. Magically laced words of little one, I don't know you yet, but that is ill-advised. Silvery barbs.
What does that one do?
You have to re-roll your d20 for yours.
For your sleight of hand.
Oh, for my sleight of hand?
Yeah.
Because it's not a spell attack.
No.
What?
Yeah, that's
For
what
your
you-
sleight of hand. Your
Okay.
ability to hide it.
Okay, I was trying to figure out what. Sorry.
Does she still reroll with the advantage, or just the one?
No, you roll a 1 and you take the
It's
lowest of
a
the total.
15. plus the number that won't load. I assume it's a 1,
Okay, so now it's a 16 instead of a 19.
probably.
He still saw it. I did.
Okay.
I had a 5 on my perception. So.
No,
Not
fuck,
good.
I did that.
It's enough that she's using a magic with a verbal component, so she's obvious.
Mm.
There's no verbal component.
No, hers has
Oh,
one.
okay, sorry.
So it has
Yeah,
two
yeah.
effects. It's messing up your sleight of hand, and it's making her casting obvious.
Yeah.
Why are we casting magic here?
She nods over towards
I need
her.
everybody at the table to make a wisdom save, please.
Okay.
DC 12.
I succeed.
I succeed.
She does too.
So do I.
Nothing happens. Some people at the bar start giggling, though.
Did you hear his laughter?
No, it wouldn't affect a large group.
That's true.
Anna. Please.
About a minute later, they stop giggling.
Did you see how the pig fell into the trough? Look at
Just deadpan. That shit wasn't funny anymore.
just stops.
That's
Look, I understand that you're really good with this magic thing, but I'm sure the instructor told you to not just cast spells at people for no reason, right?
Lamel,
I had a reason.
you.
What was your reason?
I'm upset.
All right,
Lamel.
that was not a good enough reason.
You didn't say I need a good reason.
Lamel.
Madrin.
There is one thing you changed on, and which I will take inspiration from in this moment. Could you fucking stop?
I
You've
stare
made
into your
Adric mad at
eyes.
you.
I give him advantage.
I'm not trying to intimidate her.
No, Silvery Barbs gives us advantage. I forgot to give it. So
Oh.
on your next skill check, you have advantage.
Oh,
Okay,
cool.
well,
As
I
long as it's
do
within
need
1
you
minute.
to make a save.
I can apply to that too.
And it
Are you
it's...
casting hypnotic gaze or not?
Can you
casting?
stop telling people what I'm doing and just let me do my thing?
Sorry,
yes.
I know these.
It's a wisdom
It's okay.
save.
Eventually, she's gonna run out of spell slots. She keeps
Oh, this is an ability.
That's
it's
an
not a spell
18.
slot.
Okay, nothing happens.
Yeah, but you have his ability at so many times.
Look, Anna, I love you to death. It has been non-stop dealing with this. I read you bedtime stories so that we don't have to deal with this. Can we have a peaceful dinner, please?
Can I have alcohol, please?
No.
Then no.
You
Bartender.
are not in charge here.
Yes, I am.
God damn it.
Could I have whatever your strongest drink is, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Walks over with this white clay bottle. There's no label on it. There's no nothing on it.
You're not trying to kill her, are you?
No.
No, there is a label. It's in block capital letters. Just says alcohol.
Oh, it actually says Dwarven on it.
No, just alcohol.
And I know it wouldn't because
That's
Dwarven
it.
on this. But
So, Adrit, you know how I told you my parenting philosophy is fuck around and find out, right?
I'm quite aware, and right now I agree.
Well, she's fucking around.
The problem is that might be so much that just, you know.
That's not a reality that's going to be feasible.
They're called spirits for a reason.
See, that's what it says on the bottle. It's
Adrit, did you just make a joke?
You know I've been practicing common a lot more. Got an at 20. What did you roll that for?
With your joke, Dominus loses his composure completely. Begins to
Takes out a
laugh
small
hysterically.
crystalline glass
So much so he
that is
falls out of his
frosted
seat.
out. Starts to pour.
I'm like, did she cast
Course
something
two.
on you? Are you alright, Dominus?
He's still laughing as he's on the floor, getting himself up to his
Just so
I
you
give
know-
him my hand.
That's pure refined schnapps.
Ah, perfect.
It's gonna go bad. There is no way that doesn't go down without hurting.
Oh yeah, no, I plan on it hurting.
Okay.
All right, Anna.
Mhm.
Here's what's going to happen.
Uh-huh.
You want to drink alcohol?
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Okay. As I drink it, I'm gonna cast a reactionary thing.
What, absorb
If it
element?
has
Yes,
a verbal,
absorb elements.
if it has a verbal component, you won't be able to.
It does not.
Okay.
Nope, it doesn't. I have
Absorb
the same
elements.
spell.
As I
So,
drink it.
does it have any verbal, semantic, anything?
Not
Semantic.
from what I saw.
No.
No,
Absorb
it's just a
elements
reaction.
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh,
it
semantics.
has
I'm
semantics.
sorry. Yeah, I wrote an S. I don't know
You
what
have
the
to
fuck
do.
that is.
You have to move your.
That's
hands.
fine. I can move my fucking hands as I pick up my drink.
You cannot.
Yes, I can.
Interactive object is totally gonna fuck with you
What
trying
do you
to
think's gonna
cast a
happen with
spell.
absorb elements?
I
by
have
the
no
way?
fucking idea.
You're just gonna.
I don't know what's gonna happen when I drink this either.
You know what?
Projectile vomiting.
We're gonna have you do sleight of hand
I'm
or
not-
acrobatics at disadvantage. Pick which one. I don't care. Because she has to try to do this one-handed while balancing the drink. And if she fails, you fumble the spell.
All right. Well, they're both the same plus, so it doesn't matter. All right. 5.
You fumble the spell and lose the spell slot.
Okay.
You drink the schnapps.
Yes.
Constitution save.
Okay.
I assume Lamel drank it too, or no?
Oh no! She might get the second one.
Well,
You know how when you catch a kid smoking a cigarette, you make him smoke a whole fucking carton?
you
7.
probably shouldn't, but
Yeah.
7.
she just passes out straight up. Roll d4 for me.
All right, there we go.
4.
That many hours, guaranteed.
All right,
She's just.
I then take
It's actually slow, but it still happens.
this shot, seeing that she passes out.
Please make a con save.
I will say for the briefest moment. I
14.
You probably don't want to keep drinking after that, though.
I get
Small hint of apricot. It's barely there.
flashbacks of what alcohol used to taste like.
Oh, yeah, sure, as you go out.
Yes.
So, as you go out, dream sequence starts.
There we go. This is how we trigger the bullshit.
I mean, there wasn't already bullshit.
I was waiting.
There was bullshit
You
everywhere.
wanted more, yes?
I just wanted some fries with my dinner, damn it.
Are you not entertained? More bullshit.
You find yourself in an adult body. You don't know when, where, what. Doesn't matter. There's hundreds of thousands of people around you.
Alive or dead?
Oh, mix. You're on a battlefield.
Yep.
The men, women, even some children, mostly teens and tweens, because everybody's been conscripted at some point in this. Clad in bronze and what little bit of iron you can scrounge enough to actually make equipment out of. Building largely spears, but there's some bronze-poured swords, not a lot. As this terror comes out of the smoldering clouds above you, it looks like rolling smoke, flames, live in an ocean that is the sky. And you are just fish under its waters. As this serpentine head goes fishing for your people. Comes down, breathing volumes of fire on everybody. The torrent is so intense you feel it and you're half a mile away. The head is so big that in front of your face, as you are seeing it, knowing it is that far away, you could pick up a silver piece and it would not blot it out. It would have no chance of it. It takes days of grueling, brutal combat against this thing and its 5 kin that keep coming down at different intervals. Their charred black bodies are from blowback of their own breath weapons. Their once silvery forms that look like liquid mercury moving around the sky have solidified into these pristine serpentine bodies. They have wings. They're using them like fins to swim. They have tails, much like Adrit in the water or any alligator in existence. It's just a rudder to steer itself around. They have claws, 4 sets of them, 4 limbs, that dangle like an angler might use a lure to catch people and ensnare them with its teeth. All told, less than 10% of your people survive this. But in the end, as you stand there, in this indigo robish cloak whipping around you from combination of heat, well, convection that's occurring, combination of the heat and cooling that's coming and going, and the non-stop spells you've been throwing for days, along with 6 others wearing similar clothing. It almost looks like you're wearing scales yourself, but it is all, what is it called? It's all quilted pieces, different fabrics put together to make it look like it's scaled. At the end of the day, it's just a covering, a facade. Which you wear like armor, and it does repel the fire and the claws and the fangs. It does not save your people. When you finally repel them, after slaying 3, you manage to save 6% of your population, and no more. The few that do survive over the course of the next couple weeks, a quarter of them also die due to wounds, disease, lack of food, just the environment, which is still scorched for leagues around you. You use as much magic as you can to pull things into existence to try to feed people, but it doesn't really provide a lot outside of just taking the hunger away, giving them just enough nutrients to keep walking, trying to get somewhere beyond the killing fields. Eventually, you arrive at this ivory tower floating a couple hundred feet off the ground on a small rocky island wrapped in vines with a beautiful tree draping down the side of it. You've seen it a few times. Never this low. It's always been way out of reach. The vines kind of fall like a rope ladder for people to climb. By this point, you have less than 15 surviving soldiers and people, maybe in the 50s, from what was thousands. And of course, the 6 that fought with you, 2 died, the rest survived, leaving 5, a perfect circle.
6 minus 2 is 4.
Plus
Oh,
the-
sorry. I was counting me in the 6.
No, it's 6
Yeah,
and
okay.
you, leaving a perfect circle of 5, which would establish the rule. Take centuries before the rule's fully solidified, and generations of conditioning and myths you would have to build and legends that would have to be told, indoctrination would have to be enforced, which you could rebuild. It turns out the tree might be your means to do it. But if you're ever disconnected from it, you might be severed from your entire circle permanently. When you wake up the next day, you remember this dream vividly, having drawn it, portions of it, all over the walls of whatever room you stay in, completely subconsciously. The only part of the dream that you draw that's not part of the dream, sorry, let me correct that, is an island right out your backyard.
Did it used to have a tree?
Yeah?
Yeah. No longer a tree.
Nope.
That is a really nice tie together.
And that's where we're going to end game.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
Join us next time on Magnus Aevum, where we figure out why that tree matters and what that dream was about. We probably won't find out about the dream for a while, but hey, maybe
we.
Jen's really good at stumbling into things in seconds. Any closing words from anybody?
Just give me
Watch
more
some.
alcohol
You were
and I'll
about-
make shit happen.
You were about this close to having a mug from across the room catapult spelled into your face.
Oh, and you have the worst hangover in
Oh, yeah.
existence,
Yeah.
just so you're aware.
Just because I wanted to use the catapult spell, not because I...
because kids drinking alcohol will have consequences.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Mama's gonna beat my butt.
All right, everybody. I think that's the end of everything. You all have a wonderful
The
evening.
end of everything. Dear God, the sky is falling. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's not the end of everything. It's just the end of tonight. We'll see you next Monday. Please join us.
Bye-bye.
We love all of you.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye bye.